What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Shonen Pulse podcast here on the Panel Focus YouTube channel. Sorry that we didn't have an episode last week due to a couple of scheduling conflicts. We had to postpone it, so apologize for the inconvenience. But we're back to talk about more of these amazing manga. And really quick, I just want to say thank you all for 500 subscribers. This means a lot to us that we reached this milestone so quickly. And here's hoping we make it to 1K by the end of the year. Now, joining me today, as usual, is my pals Yatogami.
Yo, yo.
Papa Trophy.
Yo.
And Knox.
Yeah.
So we got a lot to talk about today, as always. And we're going to be starting things off with Chainsaw Man. So who wants to start the conversation over this crazy chapter, as always?
So I can start this off because
Get in there.
Go on, Trav.
So I love how the aging devil just turns the bang around on Asa, sending like it's not even what you would expect. Like you see him put up his finger and say bang, you expect like a big hole in her, or her to just explode or something, but no, he sends her to another world.
Yeah, it's just a domain expansion and stuff.
Right?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Fujimoto's like, you know what, Akutami's got something. Let me do something for myself with this.
Well, they're boys, you know what I'm saying? So he might have
Yeah.
been like, "Hey, you just ended your shit. This is for you, homie."
Let's go.
I would be surprised.
Yeah, and another thing that I do want to focus on before we get to that other world is just the one page. It's page 3, where she says, "Oh, it's that same dream again. A dream. When did I go to sleep?" And I love how Fujimoto likes using this like imagery, because in part 1 it was Denji and the door, basically, don't open the door. But for Asa, it's been slightly different because it's not open the door, it's just a reoccurring dream that's going through an alley. And it's so much harder to predict what this means in regards to don't open the door.
Only difference from this thing is I believe there was no like chickens, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but we also don't see how long. The dream is like 2 panels, so I mean there could possibly be chickens, but they don't focus on the dream too much. We just she opens her eyes and we're in fucking the Garden of Eden or whatever the fuck this is.
The angel's place.
Yeah, it reminded me of Nightmare Before Christmas. All the trees with like all the different like seasons and whatnot on them. Even though there's no like seasons here or whatever, but I just recently watched that movie because it is that season. So I just like saw a forest and was like, ooh, yeah.
I do feel like I've seen this in a lot of different like this exact scene where character just kind of like opens their eyes and is just there at a field of thousands of trees and nothing makes sense and shit. Like I can't think of anything off the top of my head now. Probably should have like thought about it and wrote it down, but
it is common.
Yeah, you see this all the time in media. I'm sure somebody in the comments will be like, "Yeah, this was in blah, 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 or whatever." But yeah, this is dope. And so Yoru doesn't know, or Asa is in control at this point. Where am I? And Yoru takes over. They see Denji, and she starts trying to finger bang his mouth, and that's a thing.
Pause.
Okay, good. I guess good phrasing there.
Yeah, but. So yeah, bangs don't work, no powers, devil powers don't work in here. And meet this this hobo dude with the little loincloth tied around his nuts. He's like, "Welcome, this is the world of the aging, the world of the aging devil created." Kind of, it's like it's interesting because this place is not too very different from like what Cosmo made, the Halloween devil. Because I mean, it's like she created a space and trapped like Santa Claus in there, the doll devil or whatever, and it was like a zone completely. Yeah, it was a library, and it was a space like this, but it did like she didn't go insane or whatever. But I mean, people are in here going insane. Like this guy here, he's like, I've been here 84, however long, 82 years since I've been here. Everybody else has lost their mind and like.
Yeah, and he said he was the youngest one in here too.
Yeah,
so, like, everyone else has been in here longer. Yeah, and it's just me, or like does Fujimoto like drawing dudes with like big sideburns? Why do I feel like this is like the 4th or 5th guy in this series with like mutton chops?
I think he just likes sideburns. The guy likes movies. I think probably because I think like a lot of old school action movies. I think have a lot of guys with like mutton chops or sideburns all the time.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie buff thing.
Yeah,
but and So one of the things that like I question about this whole situation is uh, it doesn't seem like the aging devil has a particular interest in making contracts with children, only with adults. So his interest in the death of children is very weird because like this guy for example, he passed by the mirror and noticed he got old and he was like, if there was such a thing as an aging devil, I'd make a contract with it. And that was enough to form a contract. But if he's the youngest one there, that means there's no children there and they don't age. So he only, I mean, to be fair, a child's not going to look in the mirror and be like, I wish I wasn't
getting
old.
old.
Yeah.
Maybe
think-
it's like a spectrum thing, like because there's like different
Could be.
aspects of the aging devil to like from like the one end of the spectrum being like really young and the other end of the spectrum being like really old. So maybe it's like, yo, you got to kill children to like when you eat me or whatever, and that's like playing into like the young part of the aging devil, and then you making the contract and getting sent to this other dimension is like a part of the old side of the spectrum or whatever.
It seems
Well-
to
Or
be
the
a
agent
lot
devil
of-
just finds, or maybe the agent devil finds some sick irony in just getting rid of those that don't have time to actually age. Maybe he just gets some sick kicks out of it, while also making the people who are older not age or stay young.
Yeah,
as
there's
like
a
some sort of twisted irony.
there's a lot of twisted shit to it, and a lot of like different aspects, like the whole like the good die young type shit. Like the old
Yeah.
people are forced to live in this place for forever, and the kids are being killed off as tribute for its contracts and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, it makes sense. I feel like I could see, a person walking past the mirror and going like, "Damn, bro, I'm getting old, man." Like, I wish there was somebody that something I could do to stop that. That is like he finds himself trapped in here, and it's like it's kind of relatable. I could see that. I could see like an old person saying that.
So one
Yeah.
thing
Hmm.
I had like a thought process going on, and I was like, maybe children are a threat to the aging devil because they're young, and this is why he wants to take them out instead of forming a contract with them. That could still be the case, but then I also thought about the fact that what does a lot of kids wish for? They wish to be older so that they have freedom. And so he could still make a contract with children, just they're not asking to be younger, they're asking to be older.
Yeah, maybe it could be like kind of like a fuck you to the kids or whatever. Like, because devils, they aren't normally friendly, so it's like kids want to grow up, and how do I prevent that? I kill them. So that's just him being an asshole. Like, yep, these kids, they'll never get to grow old and see do the things that all the old people want to do, but also kind of like in Ranger, where Magatia had made the like school, and it's like the kids no longer have to worry about the things that come from the everyday life. They no longer if they die young, they don't have to worry about paying bills and getting diseases and shit like that, because they die when they're young and pure. So it's like, in a way, it's kind of like a fuck you, but also it's like doing the devil could be looking at it like doing the kids a favor.
Yeah. I don't know.
But-
It's a weird, like, why does he make the contracts with old people but kills children? I guess that's kind of where we'll get to eventually.
Yeah, I do wonder though how long we're going to be in this zone. I mean, I don't think we went to hell in this series, and they were there for like 2 or 3 chapters, and then they had the like Halloween thing, and that lasted like 3 pages. So like, I wonder if this scene with Yoru and stuff is going to be like multiple chapters, or if like next chapter they're going to bust out or whatever. Because I mean, the aging devil doesn't want like. These other people were probably, brought in here to fuck with them and, part of contracts or whatever. But the Aging Devil just wanted to make Yoru and Chainsaw Man more like mature. So they're brought here for a set amount of time. Most likely, there's some sort of like agreements or something. Like they're probably going to bring them out, and it's like, all right, now you guys are old enough, more mature. It's time to listen to me. I got some shit to say. They're probably like expecting, their brains to be able to like understand and comprehend what they want them to do at a certain point. But these other guys are probably just toast. Like, this dude's he's like, you're a hallucination I dreamed up, and he even gets the name wrong. He's like, aren't you Ritsuko? It's like, what? It's not my name. He starts, yeah. This chapter went by like super fast, because like this foolishness was like a lot.
It really did, and I think this is more to set up like just to get people to think how are they going to get out of this situation. And honestly, there's a few questions that revolves around it. When they're in here, does time pass normally on the outside? So when they get out, if they get out, are like years going to have gone by in the real world, and they're going to come back to a completely different place, and they're going to have to figure out what changed, and then also how do they get out? Is this going to be like I can't imagine there's a door to leave this place. So the only thing I could really think of is like, family comes in to save them, or they're able to use just raw power to break out of it. But the fact that Asa can't use her power, I don't see that being it.
Maybe it's like some kind of like psychological hurdle to where they like come to terms with something inside themselves, like mentally, and just like escape from
Perhaps.
like not caring about age anymore or something stupid like that.
Yeah,
Maybe you can't see it, but
aging.
you can't see it, but I'm stroking my
Huh?
beard in.
Oh, bro! You
Yo,
can't see
what do
it
you think
right
I was
now,
gonna
but I'm
say?
stroking my. Come on, bro! It was the.
Yo, the layup is crazy. He on some sick shit, y'all, man.
Look, I stutter. I can't help it sometimes.
Oh shit! That
No,
was
but
a
what I was gonna
close
say,
one.
yeah, but no, all serious. But look, in all, what I was gonna say was like, if they like go with like they end up leaving and it just time passes, I say time skip, and then we go on to like, oh, death is already here.
I don't want to like be the guy that's like, let's think more, reasonably or rationally or whatever. But I do
This
think
is
it's just,
Chainsaw Man.
I just think it's like a hyperbolic time chamber. They're gonna get out and no time has passed or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that would probably be the best course.
Just because it would, like they get out and it's like 50 years is going by. So much has changed in the story. Like Denji and them, they don't know anybody no more because everybody's dead. It's like,
True.
I think they'll get
Or it
out
could
and
just be
it's
like 6 months.
yeah,
6 months to a year.
I think mentally everyone in here will have aged like Asa and Denji. They'll be they probably won't even fucking like age. Like this is probably going to be for nothing, and the aging devil's going to be like, wow, you guys are like stupider than I thought. Like I left you in there for 10,000 years, and like you guys didn't learn shit. You're still childish. It just spits them back out and is like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm going to retire. We will find somebody else to do what I want. I think they're going to get out of here just because the aging devil like lets them out. I don't think it's going to be any great busting out.
I mean, it's Chainsaw Man. I want to be a lot of times the most out of left field thing will end up being the actual thing that will happen.
Yeah, some like wildly unpredictable condition was fulfilled
Exactly.
in some weird like Fujimoto kind of way.
This is
Or
the
Kishibe finally shows up to save everyone's asses.
Kishibe comes riding in on a flaming motorcycle.
It's been nearly 100 chapters. The guy has not shown up.
Yeah, he goes
It's a
busted
meme.
in, popsicles in both hands, American flag bandana on. He's like, I'm busting you kids out. Like, what the fuck
Or we
is going
finally
on?
figure out what Kobeni's devil contract is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One of the
he's
two
got
long-standing
Kobeni with him.
mysteries of Chainsaw Man.
The lucky
Where's
cat devil or
Kishibe and
whatever.
what is Kobeni contracted with?
I was. Go ahead.
I see this being like a Asa Denji team up arc. They're gonna have to learn how to work together in here, and so by the time they get out, they're just gonna be like a good team, not friendly, but like a good team, and they'll have to fight the aging devil together. I can see that.
What if I have a crazy idea? If I am
Hit it.
channeling my inner Fujimoto right now,
You got
probably not to an
Fujimoto
extent to
inside
actually
you?
think like the guy.
it's crazy.
I'm not thinking of levitating, but what if in terms of Denji, what if, let's say, they were sent into other reality, it was just like their souls, and what's there is just Denji, and he has no Chainsaw Man powers, or in some degree Denji, like Asa, can't turn into Chainsaw Man, and it's just plain old Denji, no powers whatsoever. Because it was stated they don't need to eat, they don't need to sleep, they don't really get injured. So what if they just can't use their, like what's going on with Asa, Denji can't use his powers, and maybe he's just a normal human being in this world. He doesn't have Pochita for a heart. It'd be interesting if like the Aging Devil separated, like to an extent, like spiritually, Denji from his body, while Asa might be there physically also, and that'll be another mission to go through.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
awkward to think that they'll get out
Meanwhile,
of this.
Pochito's just wreaking havoc in the real world. Maybe
Yeah, it's hard to imagine them getting out of this scot free, especially like a
there's got to be some
situation
sort of
like this.
consequence.
Yeah, some sort of consequence, but also it's like Chainsaw Man, so it's like might just get some like weird esoteric poem dialogue from some character, and then boom, they're like suddenly in Canada or some shit.
What if?
yeah.
What if? Go ahead, Trav.
So just in regards to what Greek was saying, I don't see that being a possibility. Just because that would mean that Yoru wouldn't be able to be in this space either. Also would lose her arms.
Yeah, maybe.
You think
What
so?
True.
What if it's just like this is like meant to just teach them a lesson, and fucking Dingy is actually like fucking Sleeping Beauty and will only wake up if Asa like kisses him, and then they spend years in here and they have a kid and shit.
Oh god,
Oh God.
dog.
Like
Baby Dingy is born to save the world.
yeah,
So to an
just-
extent, we have a spiritual time skip where the
Yeah.
two of them learn how to be rational human beings. But
Yeah,
what
they
if we
learn to be
just
better.
cut back to reality and they're just reset to zero?
Oh my god! Imagine they do like go through and live life in here, and they like get together and have a kid, and then like when they get out, all of that doesn't happen. Like 5 minutes in real life is going by, and they spent like 10,000 years together and shit. It's like
That'd be trippy as hell.
They
Bro.
remember
Yeah.
nothing.
no, they remember everything, but like it's
Yeah.
like my kid's gone. It's like
Mhm.
the love and shit that we shared, the child that we made, just
God,
fucking
what did
doesn't
that
exist
what did that
anymore.
happen in? That's happened in things before. Oh my god, that's gonna
Bruh.
drive me crazy. I've fucking seen that in other comic books.
I feel
Bruh.
like I have too.
Oh shit! Someone in the comments help me, otherwise I'm gonna go insane.
Oh,
I
you're
don't
gonna go
they
insane.
have a kid in like an alternate reality and then go back, and it's like we gotta live with each other, continue fighting to try to kill each other, but we know we had a kid that just got pooped out of existence. Yeah.
Dude, that's a
Sword Art
thing
Online?
in something. It better not be Sword Art Online. Don't say that.
Sword Art does have something like that. They
Some
don't
stuff
have
like
a
that.
kid, but like
Oh!
End of the last season, Asuna and Kirito are in a virtual world for like 1,000 years.
yeah.
Though they
It's
had
in
to erase
something
out
else.
their
It's in,
memories.
it's in something else too. It's in something better. Someone
It's
Yeah,
in
else.
we're
something
not
good.
giving Sword Art.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not
It's
giving
something-
Sword Art.
it's
Yeah, they're
something
fun
good.
they're fun outside of the second half of season 1.
No, we don't have fun here on this show.
No
Well,
fun.
then I'm leaving.
No,
Oh,
no.
rip the
All
guy.
right, but no, you're no,
But-
no, no. Something like that has happened. It's definitely on the tip of my tongue. It's going to
Also
be
a
incredibly
possibility
obvious.
that the aging devil could just be like trolling them. We've seen like kind of like an immature, like low key, silly kind of like personality kind of from the aging devil like already.
He just seems like
or at least
he just seems bored.
yeah,
perpetually
like
bored.
we kind
Just
of like
doing it for
talked
fun.
about it in like previous reviews or whatever. Dude's kind of a dick and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
seems to like I don't know if fucking with people is the right word, but like it's
You
definitely
could just be the
not,
incel
like,
of devils.
it's not the kind of like personality that you'd think like an ancient evil force would kind of have so far. So you never know like what kind of fuckery this devil could be on. But
The
Wait,
devils
What
do-
if?
I got
the
it. I
devils
got
What
do
it.
if-
kind of? Go ahead, Trav.
Sorry.
It's the butterfly effect.
uh-oh.
Something similar happened in there because he like time travels in that movie.
Oh,
and
you
each
talking about the
time,
baby thing?
yeah. My bad. I was going back to that because I remembered it and I just had to say it. So like he would, go back in time, change something, and then go in the future, and it'd be completely different. And then he'd remember everything that had happened in that timeline, and then he'd go back to change it because something fucked up. I feel like there was something like that in that movie.
Good job, Traffy. We moved on from that already. I'm going to coin that the weeb.
All right. What if this world is just the aging devil being like, I want Chainsaw Man to eat me. What if I make him? What if I make them experience what it feels like to not age or not require anything for centuries on end?
Well, I mean, he
They
said he
don't have to
doesn't-
eat me.
He doesn't starve or anything, so like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if
would
he
be
just
the- what
feels
would
his
be the
own life as pure
catalyst to-
agony and just wants it to end? He wants Chainsaw Man to eat him and
Yeah.
just end his
I can
existence.
I can
So
see
he like
that.
eats him out of anger, not hunger.
No,
Yeah.
like
like
the,
frustration.
No, or maybe out of pity.
like
out
the,
of pity.
I can see it as the
Just so
aging
we can
devil
die.
shows up into his own world, and he's like, "Hey, the only way you can escape here is if you eat me."
Oh shit.
Hmm,
Okay.
yeah, I can see that.
Now I'm feeling like that might be the most likely
yeah,
scenario.
and he's like, outside here, all your friends are getting murdered. Don't you want to get out?
And then once they get out, Asa punches a hole through Denji again to make him spit out the aging devil.
I want to see.
Oh.
I want to see. I want to see that scene, and like the aging devil is like the only way out is to eat me, and then this dude that's hugging the tree comes over and starts biting the aging devil. Let me out!
Yo.
You said if we eat you.
I
Biting
love
his
how he just
ankles.
gave exposition, and he's like, "I'm no sane person here." Then proceeds to go completely bonkers.
Yeah, maybe him like
Maybe he is the only person in there, and he's just hallucinating other people.
yeah, because he says like, "Uh-oh, it's almost that time. I'm gonna lose it, so you can disappear now." So like this might be like his like coping mechanism or his defense mechanism against going insane, where he just like
Yeah.
starts humping this tree and screaming.
That's how I
Maybe.
cope.
Like, yeah. And like that's how he like stops himself from like succumbing to the same kind of like psychosis that everyone deeper in this dimension kind of like falls victim to eventually.
If there are other people in this dimension,
Well, he said
mean-
he said there are other humans deeper in, but they've lost
Yeah.
their minds. Better to
what
keep
if
away
what
from
if he's
them.
just imagining it as a way so he doesn't feel like he's going crazy?
Oh shit, on some like castaway shit. This dude's just, like-
Exactly.
But he said
Well
Now we just need a
said.
volleyball.
He said supposedly somebody escaped, so it's like there had to be possibly
Kishibe?
like somebody.
Yeah, but he could just be
Kishibe?
a be a
Quan-Chi?
loon.
Yeah,
He could just be some kind of crazy bastard. He's the only
Yeah.
one in here, and he just imagined everyone because maybe he actually is the only one here, and he is crazy, but just doesn't think that he is.
Why don't you spend like 5 chapters in this place where nothing happens?
No way.
Because Fujimoto feels like it.
There's no way. He's just taking a break.
Maybe. Maybe we just have
Extended.
like 2 to 3 chapters of them of Asa wandering around making shelter. Then
Sing
getting up.
something.
If that was like something that he like, you know, took advantage of because of this like wacky universe he's created, it's like I don't really feel like advancing the narrative. Really, I'm gonna chill and just draw
I mean,
random art with random dialogue for 5 chapters because it's Chainsaw Man. I can get away with that in this universe.
I mean, look, up until like the current arc with everything going bonkers, like we had like a year of things just being relatively chill, just a random thing happening every now and again.
I mean,
Yeah.
he slowed it down. It's a different.
He slowed it down
tone,
by a good
different
amount.
pace.
It was still interesting.
Yeah, but
But-
like he's going a different pace with this story. People
Yeah.
complained in part 1 that it was too fast and they didn't get to know any of the characters, and now it's part 2
This
slows
last
it down.
arc, though, like at
Yeah.
the beginning, it was definitely a very like different story than part 1. But he's been turning up the Chainsaw Manness like
Yeah.
these last like
Listen.
arc or 2.
Yeah,
I think this whole experience, based on how people have reacted to Chainsaw Man as a whole, and this is completely off topic from the actual chapter, but I just want to mention this here. I think Chainsaw Man as a whole can be enjoyed by everybody as like a binge, because I notice people have said like, oh, it's too cool, oh, it's too like it could be too quick, or it's too slow with part 2. But I left some chapters to build up. I read them in quick succession, and I thought they were fine. I didn't see
Yeah.
an issue. I just think Chainsaw Man's probably like one of those series that is like best experienced in a binge.
yeah.
feel
Chainsaw
bad,
Man
like-
definitely benefits from that. There's too much that like happens like weekly where people like can lose focus or forget, and like people are
Yeah.
impatient. So it's like if something
Mhm.
crazy doesn't happen this week, it's a bad chapter to people on
Mhm.
like Twitter and shit. That's just how it goes.
But
And if
also, I
something
wanna
too
say that,
crazy-
like,
TikTok
Yeah.
especially.
yeah, go ahead, Traffy.
Oh, and if something too crazy happens, it's also a bad chapter. It has to be just in that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, people just don't know what they want really. But I
Yeah.
mean, like I feel like most stories are like meant to be like binged or like consumed like all at once. You know what I mean? Like you look at like the medium of
Most
like,
stories,
novels. You look at the medium of novels and you get like the whole book like all at once. You don't get like novels chapter by chapter, and a lot of that
Yeah.
has to do with the fact that they're not visual mediums that like take way longer to create because of the art aspect. But like, like you get these things like weekly or monthly or bi-weekly or whatever schedule it's on because there's a lot more that goes into the production or whatever. But at the end of the day, like these are like whole stories evenally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like by the time they end, like
Yeah.
people's only choice are going to be to binge it. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I feel like all stories kind of benefit from a binge.
Binging, yeah.
Yeah,
But that's-
there's just some readers who really like are you can tell there's some people I feel like are not cut out for the weekly reading experience. Like they
Oh,
get
yeah.
online and they just start bitching about stuff, and it's like, bro, just
Yeah.
wait till next week because it's gonna be
Yeah.
like the greatest thing you ever read next week. Like
Yeah.
they go from like my goat to like, oh man, he's washed, and it's like, all right, bro,
I
we've
think
seen this
that
song and dance before.
The weekly
Like a couple years ago, that's how I felt
criticism-
about I felt that way about MHA and JJK for a while. I put them down. I started reading them again after a break in a succession. Then I read them weekly again. I'm like, I was probably just burnt out.
I think it's always a personal problem if you like suffer from like weekly updates or like chapter by chapter like updates. I feel like that's always like a you thing and not like a series thing. Because at the end of the day, like these creators have this whole story like or a lot of it like mapped out in their heads. Like they're not just like flying by the seat of their pants like 95% of the time, I want to say, like when they're creating
Unless you're
these
Hiro
stories.
Mashima
So
with Fairy
like
Tail.
yeah, like we just gotta like most of the time just wait to see like how the story unfolds, and they're on like a schedule where they can only release it like so often, but they know like what's going to happen in the future and we don't. So like if you're complaining on like a week to week or like chapter to chapter like basis, I feel like that's like a you thing most of the time,
Yeah, like
but
whenever I do a review, I'm like, I'm not a fan of this chapter, but maybe going back I'll like it more depending on how things pan out in the future. I'm not gonna
yeah.
demonize an entire series being like, I didn't enjoy this chapter as much as I thought I would. Maybe revisiting or future chapters will recontextualize it to make it better.
Yeah,
Or worse.
I've
You never
never, I've
know.
never liked that like criticism, like ever, like because it's like for some people, you're like, oh, I can't take, Chainsaw Man or Jujutsu Kaisen or My Hero Academia weekly. It's like other people can, you know what I mean? So it's not
Yeah,
like
personal
it's
preference.
not the series like fault that you're having issues, being on the pulse. So
Alright, so I just double checked, and we do in fact get a new chapter. So tomorrow. So when you guys are listening to this, Chainsaw Man will be coming out in like an hour if you're listening to it. When we drop it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, I kind of made us go off topic there.
Thanks,
I,
weeb. No, it
I
was a good
apologize, but
It
hey,
was
that
a-
was
it
fun.
I think it was a good conversation anyway.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. But what you guys got any more theories for what this whole dimension, this chapter means?
I think I'm all squeezed out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all skeeted out.
I said what I needed to say.
It's evolving.
Look, I'm
It's-
sorry. I'm sorry. I've been on Blue Sky too much, and so I keep saying like I'm skeeting or re-skeeting.
Huh?
It's becoming a habit.
Oh, like Sky tweet
Yeah,
combo.
yeah.
Oh, I hate it.
I'm like, what the heck is he talking about? I'm like,
I
oh,
hate
okay,
that
now I
so
get
much,
it.
but it makes
Yeah.
so much sense. No.
Only other thing I had before we go is just that at the second page when Asa's like falling or Yori's falling, that like the 3 panels where she's like falling and flipping at edge just reminded me of like Toy Story or like Super Smash Brothers, where you like fucking lose and the characters in Super Smash Brothers are actually like action figures. It's just like falling and continue.
That is the actual world.
Yeah. Continue. Yeah. Now that I'm looking at this page again, it kind of reminds me of when Mei was fighting the smallpox curse in the Shibuya incident arc, and like
Yeah.
it like summoned that like coffin around her, but like it showed her inside of the coffin without the coffin, and she kind of like had this sequence of turning and falling and twirling or whatever, if I'm remembering that correctly.
Yeah. Another
Yeah.
thing is Fujimoto likes drawing these dry ass lips on people. Like when the guy is telling her that he doesn't want to age, his lips are looking like hella crusty, and then you see Yoru's like, how long have you been here? Her lips look hella crusty. Like he's been given a special. It happens a lot with Yoru. I feel like every time he draws like really close up, her lips look very crusty and dry.
Have you
It's like, all right,
ever seen
mean,
her put
have you
chapstick
ever-
on?
I was gonna say that, but have you ever
Yeah.
seen anyone drink anything in this series? Too?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
there
everyone's
is some
just like
biffs.
everyone's just dehydrated.
No, I've seen someone
Then
drink.
she ate the water devil.
Oh, you've
Look,
seen people drinking this? Okay.
We've both seen. We've seen Denji drink, and
Yeah.
oh shit,
early,
what was her
early on,
name?
like 20s.
What was her
But
name?
they don't be drinking enough. Like, what did doctors say that these people are hydrated
Yeah.
enough?
Oh,
But
I
yeah,
can't
I do
remember
think
her
a
name.
lot of devils are just assholes. Like the future devil, like it was just just prank.
That
it was a
nigga was a
prankster.
real troll. Yeah.
Like some of them I think are just pranksters. So like this could just be like a prank that the aging devil is playing on a lot of people. But at the end of the day, I think it's trying to get Denji to eat it for reasons. But yeah, I'm all squeezed out too, all skeeted and squeezed. Let's roll.
All right. That's it for Chainsaw Man then. All right, next up. All right, next up on the docket, we got Centuria chapter 28, A Feast for Four. So this one actually gave me a bit of the feels towards the end, especially because this basically just dealt with the grief of what transpired over the last couple of chapters. How does everyone feel about it?
Yes. Go ahead.
You know
Trey.
what? Go ahead, Yato. I started the last one.
All right, yeah, I was just gonna say, it's crazy to when these multiple chapters and fights and stuff go by, you never really think about like how much time passes, and so like halfway, in the middle of the chapter, we have Julian trying to make TT feel better, or taking her to get some rest, and they go into the crib, and the food's on the table, and it's like, oh yeah, I made this food to celebrate you and Diana's birthday, and it's like she made that probably like an hour ago or 2 hours ago, and like this whole battle with Arcos and all that stuff, and Angval dying. This all happened like 2 hours ago. So like this food, it's
Old as
it's not.
hell.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm thinking it's only been there for like an hour or two. Like, yeah. Oh, you said cold. I thought you said old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cold. Yeah, it's cold. So it's like time to warm it up. But it's like, dang, like I made this food, and at that time, you just got to think like the headspace she was in, like 2 hours ago, everything was all good. They were smiling and laughing. I'm happy. I'm cooking this food for my family. We're about to, eat dinner. And then, you go out for a smoke, you come back in, and like one of the people you was making dinner for was just dead. The whole mood's changed. It's a crazy vibe.
Yeah, I appreciate how much time is kind of being spent on the loss of Angval, because I feel like a lot of series, tend to like kind of like gloss over character deaths.
This is
Yeah, you can really feel the loss here though, and especially for a series that's this new. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like we were like so attached to Angval like right away. Like he just did, I think his name's Toru Kuramori, or their name rather, but just built up a great cast right away. A lot to like about everybody involved, and then you killed one of them and spent the appropriate amount of time, mourning that character, and you can just really feel the loss. And I just really appreciate that, because I feel like that's like a big criticism in my history or experience with comic books, is that a character will die and then you get like a sniffle here, or like a scrunched up like face, like they're like, is he really dead? Like, and then they just kind of like move on. But they spent a pretty good amount of time on the mourning aspect here, so I like that.
Yeah, and I, just as a side note to that, I do like the fact that it did confirm what we were talking about, I think either last episode or the episode before last, in regards to Julian having 101 lives, and that the first that he lost was his own.
Yeah, hard confirmation on that was really good, and this was a good chapter for that information too.
Yeah, it's good to see him reflect and think about those things. Like, okay, yeah, I died, so he really did have 101 lives. And then, since we didn't talk about last week's chapter, just last week, I don't know if we said it, but I think I was saying something in the last review where I was like, yeah, Julian's gonna show up and everybody's gonna be there. They didn't like arrest him, but like the whole thing with Elstree, and he was threatened to kill her, and she weaseled her way out. And so we got that scene where they all cried over Angval's body. It was emotional, man. I think I teared up. It was a week ago, so I don't remember, but I feel like I let out a little tear for Angval. Yeah, I was sad.
Yeah,
it did a good job of getting you attached to the character. Like my thing, this is hit or miss for me a lot of times when it comes to getting us to like a character and then killing them off within like what is basically like, I would say like the first real arc of the series, one of the first like 20 or so chapters, or second arc if you want to call it that. And I'm like, a bit too early for a lot of series to like start killing off characters, but here I think they did a good job with building it up with the relationship between the characters and making you enjoy Angval's character as much as possible. And I think what really nailed it is seeing like her struggle between her duty and her like actual love for her family and friends.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that. Go ahead.
No, I think one of the things that I'm really enjoying is that there's a huge focus in this series around death, and how the characters handle that. And it's not played off lightly. Like, people make jokes about Game of Thrones because they constantly kill off characters, but for this series, there's no like red flags for a character's death. We've gotten to know a lot of the characters within the village, and none of them died except for Ingval. And so that's what makes the death hit harder, because she wasn't the only character that we got to know. She's also not the only character that we got to know and then died. But there's nothing that like pops up as a glaring red flag saying, oh, this character's gonna die. And that does make it hit harder. And then spending the time to reflect on that death, builds up the emotions. And I really
and
like
to
how
that
that's
Yeah.
point, like there was like a lot in the death of Engval leading up to it that kind of like made me feel like she might not die even. Like
Yeah.
there was like, she took a lot of damage and still got back up and like kept
Mhm.
fighting or whatever. So I was like, oh, is this one of those series where like, willpower kind of like trumps like medical, like traumatic like
Yeah.
injuries that should kill people because it's fiction and you're just gonna live through this stuff. Like maybe there's a healer around that has like a special ability that can like bring you back from like, obviously mortal wounds or something like that. Like it just took forever for her to go down. So I was like, maybe she just lives through this shit and then no, like basketball size, like hole through the
Hole in the
chest to
chest.
like to
Yeah.
seal the deal or whatever. And it's like, ah, but there was just so much
She
hope there. There's so much more hope there,
Yeah,
she was
before she
well.
actually died.
Yeah,
he was
she
a
was
beast.
willpowering through it at first. Like when she fought that
Mhm.
one night, he had like that big mace and he was like bashing her head at this shit. She kept getting up and fighting. And then she like chased Arcos or whatever. She
Yeah.
chased
Yeah.
him and fought. It's
Uh-huh.
like I think it's usually just a problem for me like when a character is introduced and they die in the same arc that they're introduced. But this wasn't bad. I mean, it's the first arc really, and I mean, like you guys said, they did a good job of like showing Engval her struggle between what she wanted and what her duty was, but also like all these other characters. You see how much she meant to the village. The whole village is out here to bury this massive woman, and everyone's crying, everyone's brought
Yeah.
gifts and praying and stuff. So it's not like a situation where it's a character that just showed up. They're like, they're cool for 3 chapters and then they die.
Right.
They gave a lot to this character, and
Yeah, it's really well balanced, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like you get the character, you see like, you get their like development or whatever and find out what's going on with them and then you give them a couple of fights and then just to kill someone that, kind of was becoming a fan favorite, I want to say, inside of the community. You kill them so early. We got a whole funeral scene. We got like multiple pages dedicated to TT's reaction for the loss and whatnot. And like it just does really good for like the stakes, I want to say, moving forward now that Engval has actually died, because in a story like this that's very like dark and Lovecraftian, like cosmic existential like horror, you want to have that like anyone can go like at any time kind of like vibe to it to like keep the compelling nature of it like up,
yeah.
you know what I mean? But like,
Especially
Mhm.
especially when
yeah,
your main character is like basically immortal. Like
Yeah.
there's gotta
right,
be threats in some place. You can't just like keep killing off his lives and having him fight back
exactly.
over and over. So
There's got to be other areas of loss and consequence that you're
yeah,
going to have in an immortal main character.
yeah,
Exactly.
I
And
think
I think
that's
that they did a really good job with it. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a huge part of what really makes the story so impactful and hopeful for the future of it, because it's a series that isn't afraid of death, but its main character can't die. So it really has to accentuate like the people around him and how important they are to him.
Yeah.
And it does, like, he doubles down at the end of the chapter and he finds his resolve to get stronger to protect Diana. And
Right.
I feel like all of that comes in to mash together and make this compelling story.
Yeah.
yeah.
Also,
It's
how do you feel about the fact that Julian came to the conclusion that after he got his powers, like the first time he would have technically died, that was his own actual first life, and
Yeah,
so
that
it
was really
didn't
good.
take away any of the other slaves whose lives are a part of him now.
Yeah, that was
So
really
he's
good.
basically literally a dead man walking on borrowed time.
Right, yeah. Like there's just so much going for Julian's character in that regard. You have that aspect, and then I'm sure that like as the story continues and he loses more people around him, you're going to have like themes of like survivor's guilt that plays into his character arc. And
Yeah.
it's like we're looking at a future Hall of Famer main character here, I want to say.
Yeah, I think
There's
there's
like
a
so
lot.
much good setup for him to just like go down as an all-timer.
It just
Even with
makes me
his giant
wonder.
hands.
Yeah, his hands, bro. So, oh my god, the art, man. So, I hate to keep being that guy, bro. I hate to do it, but
Tell us
like
how you really
Hands.
feel.
everything about the series so far, I think is like good to great. Like it's not nothing's bad. It's fine to great or whatever. I dropped it on the fine, but the art is inconsistent, bro. Like there are times when it does get derpy, or like the hands, or like they do the caveman art thing, and like people listening, if they didn't hear me rant about it last time, they're probably like, what the hell is he talking about? This looks cool. The art, did you not see the fucking squid monster or the woods beast or whatever? But like if you go to fucking page 4, bro, this fucking woman that's holding Diana, she says anything will do. It's the spirit of remembrance that counts. Bro, look at her eye. Like this.
Oh, dude,
Bro.
I was looking at her Paul Bunyan sized hand
Bro.
holding this baby.
Yeah, her hand is
I
huge,
didn't
but like
see the eye.
She looks like a
It's the eye, bro.
cyclops.
Yeah, they're doing it again.
Oh my
Like
god,
they
I
did
didn't
it-
even notice.
Yeah, they did the eye thing with Engval like 6 chapters ago, and I thought it looked horrible. And now they're doing it again here, and then it's just like when I see stuff like that, I just scroll through, and I'm like, man, these characters is just like
didn't
cave
notice.
paintings, bro. Like it's just
Yeah.
everything. It just looks like paper, like Paper Mario. Like the characters' faces are all drawn on one side and shit. It's just
Look at page 8 too, like while they're sitting there like praying or whatever, her eyes look dummy wonky on that page too. I think that is actually TT, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
I think
I feel like this.
It's like the bottom
hands-
panel. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
could just probably be like how maybe like I believe this is the mangaka's first weekly series right now. I believe
yeah.
from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Man,
I haven't.
I'm not
At least
hating
I
on
assume.
them. I'm
Yeah,
not. I'm
yeah.
not.
No,
I'm
I'm
not
just saying
hating.
that
it doesn't
no, I'm
feel
just saying
like
probably
hatred.
not. I'm just saying
Yeah.
like this is probably like early like problems that probably will get ironed out over time. I thought it'll probably happen. We're
just-
definitely gonna keep noticing that this
it's-
stuff happens.
It just makes me wonder what type of assistant work they did under Fujimoto. Like maybe they were just doing the backgrounds and the monster designs and stuff.
Yeah,
and not
because like
Oh, he's a
landscape
Fujimoto
wise,
assistant.
yeah,
I
like
didn't know that.
like environment and like backgrounds and landscape wise, this shit is busting for sure. But like anatomy, like I can definitely see what you're
Anatomy
talking
for
about
humans
here
at
on-
least.
on
So
the anatomy
Yeah.
side. Yeah, for the humans especially. Maybe, but like sometimes like this kind of shit ends up being like
Like
you
really
know a
good.
certain. Well, it's just like whenever you see like imperfections in art, like you end up coming to the conclusion like this is what gives the art like a certain kind of like charm or whatever. But in this, it
Yeah.
just feels like awkward and like not like that. So like I
Yeah.
think I'm
Yeah,
with
yeah,
you
you got
on
me.
that. It low key feels like amateurish, I want to say. But then you look like everywhere else, and it's just like fucking gorgeous. So it's
Yeah, like this, the page where he's like that this world has even greater suffering. Like everything there looks good. Like the hand, especially the hand and the arm and the scars and stuff like that stuff all looks super, super good. And it's like I have no complaints, but then you just look through the chapter and it's just like some things just don't look right. And it's like, I mean, yeah, it's their first serialization or whatever, and they could get better. And I don't think this is a stylistic choice though. Like there's clearly sometimes people read like Demon Slayer and they go, oh, this shit. One of my friends is like, it looked like they drew that while riding the train, and it's like I think that's just a stylistic choice. But like the eyeball being like fucked up, I don't think is a style. Like I don't think they were like, let's fuck up this eyeball. I think that's just that's just
Yeah,
like
so-
they.
The hands I can see being a stylistic choice. I can defend the hands being big. That doesn't bother me that much. But
it's just
you know,
funny.
as the eye, as we mentioned,
The eyes are a little
Mhm.
harder to forgive. Yeah.
some of
Yeah.
their perspective drawings, those are a bit wonky too. So those you can criticize, but the hands I feel are intentionally drawn, a little
Yeah.
bit larger. It feels
Yeah,
like a
and it's-
stylistic decision.
And it's crazy because there are so many like facial expressions like in this manga that convey emotions in such a good way. You know what I mean? Like I feel like, a lot of the like if you look at where is that page? Where Julian, it's on page 7, where Julian is looking back at TT after she says I made enough for all of us. Like that's a good facial expression that Julian is making there. It's very
Yeah.
like I don't know what the word I want, like maybe like somber or like sympathetic, like oh my god, like that's so sad that you said something like that. This really was supposed to be a dinner for all of us. Like you're so like beat up, over this and whatnot. You can just tell that he feels for her and like there's a lot of like empathy and sympathy there or whatever. But then like going back to the Cyclops eye on that one page, it's just like it's inconsistent, like Yato said, but at the same time, there's so many other panels where the faces are just so well done and convey emotions so well. So I think it is just like a schedule thing or like
It
a
could just be like a
creator
one
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be something like where like drawing a face sideways, they just can't help but draw it that way for all we know. It could just be like a flaw that, like I said, it could get ironed out over time. It could just be a flaw that prevails for the entire series. We just got no way of knowing. It's still too early to tell.
I think it'll get ironed out. A lot of times the mangaka will
Probably.
have little like drawing, fucking glitches or whatever in the first couple of chapters, and it kind of smooths out. Like I think even like Yuji had like a funny looking nose on like the first like color page or whatever, but after that like it looks fine and stuff. And there was even points where Gege was like, I forgot how to draw Yuji because I was drawing Gojo for 10 weeks or whatever. So they go through this shit, but I don't know. I'm not gonna be too hard on it. It's just like I don't. It hurts when it's like a chapter where I'm supposed to like be feeling like emotions and stuff, and it's like, oh man, but that shit looks so weird. It distracts me. I was like, I want to feel the feelings that I do, but it's just like I can't not see the clown eye, bro.
I mean, like we'll get to like chapter 150 and look back to these chapters, and mangakas grow as their series go on because they're doing it every week. So I'm sure by then, definitely everything will be flushed out, fixed, and we won't be seeing Cyclops anymore.
Yeah, to get
or
off
Sid from Ice Age.
Unless we see actual Cyclopses.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
See that?
Yeah, let's put that to let's use that as a strength, bro. Let's make some funky eyeball monsters. Just do it.
Oh,
bro.
something I want to just mention really quick, just to praise from the previous chapter 27. That page of Julian just walking out of the water holding Arcos's like bleeding head.
Aura.
Badass.
Yeah.
Aura incarnate.
Yeah.
Holding him by his hair. Inconceivable.
Yeah. Bro was
that
on
shit.
timing.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how things are. I'm curious to see how things are going to progress forward, like with the king, and see how things are going to go from here. How the story will progress, especially with that prophecy.
I want to see this bastard. Where's he at?
It would be interesting. Would be interesting if the king was like genuinely like looks creepy and suspicious, but is like actually a nice dude. Like Anvil like remembers. Imagine if it's like he is like a nice guy, just like the actual like the fortune teller or whatever is just they say like she's like a super fanatic, so any cruelty or cruel acts that could have just been done like through her in her fanatical way of just supporting the basically immortal king.
Yeah, that's gonna be like a real big moment for the series, I want to say, especially because they've been talking about this king for a decent amount of time now before showing him, you know what I mean? Like you look back at like things like Vinland Saga or like Berserk or whatever, whenever there's like a lead up to like this monarch figure, or whatever, you get that first like splash page or like something where they like show the king like on the throne, like with the crown, like that like vibe is going to kind of inform, I want to say, like the future of the series, because that's always like a major point in stories like these where you have like a monarchy that's problematic. You got to see what the king looks like, and then that like immediately gives you like a gut like feeling about like how the tone will kind of like shape around that reveal eventually or whatever. I don't know if I'm communicating that properly, but like I just remember the first time I turned the page to see like the king in Vinland Saga, and I was just like immediately like, I can't wait for this dude's head to get cut off.
Yeah, and it's just like I do wonder, because like at this point, like where do they go from here? I mean, he wants to protect his Diana or whatever, and it's like he's obviously going to roll with TT. So where do they go next? Does TT like train and become like an archer or something? Do they like we're never going to let this shit happen again? But like Julian's the only one that's immortal, man. So his path is one that's gonna be filled with bloodshed. He's got like 98 lives to lose. So, and
99.
99 is it? Okay.
Yeah, he's at 99.
Yeah, still got 99 left.
99
he's lost
problems,
2
but
lives. Yeah, but life ain't
100
one.
ways to die. 99 left.
Yeah, I want to see where they go from here. Like maybe does he try and become a knight? Like if he meets the king's like, you killed one of my big hitters. And
my son.
Yeah, you killed my boy, my dog. So like you got the option of like either dying here, you and your family, or you become, one of my knights. And like what
Actually, we find out that like Arcos was like not very much liked by the king. Like, oh, that was like my least favorite son or whatever. He was always a bitch. That's why he kicked it with his mom all the time. Like, these are my he's gonna be like, these are my real sons right here, and it's just gonna be like some crazy like triplets that are like strong as shit or something.
Oh yeah. And they all have supernatural powers.
Yeah.
I'm
Speaking of
We're
waiting.
strongest,
gonna find out Arcos was like not only like the least favorite, but also like the weakest
The
or
weakest.
something. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm waiting for
Speaking
the
of,
moment. Oh my bad. I'm waiting
No,
for
go
the
ahead, go ahead.
moment where Julian gets captured and they just like torture 20 lives out of him, and we just have to sit there and watch as he loses them one by one.
Dude, that would be
Yeah.
That was
insanity.
so dark.
How are
I
they
mean,
gonna keep him?
I
How are
mean,
they gonna
it's
keep
dark.
him pinned
It's dark.
down for that though? Like, what kind of technology would? Oh, I guess they would have to use abilities to some degree to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like
Ability? No,
they
you
could- they
can
could
do
put him in
any
a-
type of execution method.
they could
Yeah,
put him
but
in
I
a
mean, like he's
situation.
so strong though. Like
Yeah.
he's like so like supernaturally powerful. He has like the strength of like 100 niggas or whatever. So like if you try to like shackle him, he'll just break out of that. You try to hang him, like that's
True,
probably not gonna
Yeah.
work.
But
Like
they still hit him with a hail of bullets. Remember, he got harpooned in chapter 1 after getting the ability.
Yeah,
True.
but
And it was
I
just
love
like
the
a normal guy stabbing him in the neck.
I love to see
Yeah.
a creative way where they can force him to like have to take punishment. Like maybe they get Diana somehow, but he also can't like muscle his way through them to get her back. And it's like
because they got a knife to her neck. Like you better
Yeah.
stand there and take this cattle prod or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
Screen.
but like most people don't know that he's got this like immortality. So it's like for the first couple times, I want to see like do they stab him and it's like this should normally kill a person, and they're like okay maybe he's just that strong, and then like after they stab him like 30 times, like okay so you probably should have died like at least 10 from a couple of those stabs. So like either you got powers like Arcos did, or like the guys we got that are stabbing you are like playing like we're gonna behead all of them because they're not stabbing you they're not putting their back into it. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on? Like, because nobody knows, they don't know he's immortal. So it's like, you stab him or whatever, and you don't know that like this normally, you shoot somebody and it's like they still walk, and it's like, okay, are they like do I got like rubber bullets? Like, is this a real gun?
You're like, okay, nothing else is working. Let's drown him. You're like,
That man's on bath salts.
Electrocution. Oh no, they don't have the electric. I doubt they have the electric chair.
Yeah, no, they got candles and shit. No,
Yeah.
Fucking firing squad.
just
into, like,
pull
cannonballs. Yeah.
all the torture or all the execution methods that they tried to do on Gabimaru in the first episode of Hell's
they
Paradise.
tie
Tie two
horses
bulls to his legs and
yeah.
then split him in half.
Throw this
That
nigga
is
in
brutal. That's
Iron
brutal as
Maiden
hell.
real quick.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden would be a crazy scene to get
That'd
Julian
be
walking
insane.
out of that shit just covered in blood and holes.
Yeah, I wonder how that how that works. Like if he is in a situation like that, does it keep like killing him, or like so if he's in an Iron Maiden and they close it, like he dies, but is his body like trying to heal itself, or can it like does he die if he stays in the Maiden for like 30 seconds? Does he die like 7 times, or does it like
good
they open the
question.
Maiden and
That's
then the
interesting.
next life start? Like can he?
Yeah,
like,
I want to
delay it?
assume like if they threw him in Iron Maiden and he died, then it wouldn't reset for the next life until he left that contraption and healed.
Yeah.
And then
That's what
they
I'm
would have to
thinking, too. It
close
has
the
to be possible for him
Iron.
to
They'd have to close the Iron Maiden again after he healed in order for it to count for a second life.
Yeah. So then I guess that could create a situation where someone thinks they killed him and then they like dump his body and
Yeah, I
then
was
he
thinking
like
that
gets
too.
back up. So yeah, they like hang him and then like they hang him over like a shark pit or something, and then like it breaks his neck, and then they're like, all right, he's done, and then they cut the rope and then they walk away, and then like you see him reach over the fucking pier or some shit like 20 minutes later. It's like, I'm not
That's a
dead.
good question. What happens if they like feed him to a bunch of like piranhas or something and his whole body is like devoured? Oh, well, I guess the
Simple,
sea
explodes
wouldn't
out of
the sea wouldn't
he
let him
explodes
like
out.
die. The sea wouldn't let the
Yeah.
piranhas eat him. Okay, so like they throw him in the woods and a bear fucking like eats him whole or something like that, and like chews his whole body up and then like shits him out, and then he like reconstitutes himself or something.
Bro, if you reform from Dookie, I lose it. Yeah. He come back as bear poop. You're like, bro, we literally fed you to the fucking pigs, dog. What's happening?
Literally out of the
Yeah.
shitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I'm interested to
Yeah.
see. And are we gonna get more tank ass characters? Because look at Angval, bro. Like this
Yeah.
this mummy that they made out of her is fucking huge. She's like a fucking
Yeah.
she's like a bus, and
It's
then
like
like
Shaq mummy.
yeah, and like they only bury people like a foot deep. Like this is not 6 feet, bro. This is like a foot of dirt that they dug a hole. Like what? Or
Yeah,
is
and
she-
that's another thing I was thinking about too, because bro pulled up, she was like, wait, don't bury her, just wait a little bit longer. And bro was like, hold on, I got you. Or no. She said, give me a knife. And then she like cuts off the hair and she's like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna hold on to this to remember you. And then bro was like, hey, here, last, like throw this in a bag real quick. I feel like that's gonna be important later. We might get some like necromancy off of that or something like that later. I feel like maybe it's probably just like, for her, and that's like all that it is just so that she can have like, something to remember her by. But like just like fiction, like history is kind of like
see.
telling me that this could be like a thing, because this is a supernatural series at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like if we have like evil undead mummy clone Angball later that's like an enemy or something, that would be fucking
It'd
crazy.
be wild. I can see like
Yeah.
on a lighter side where she just like sees like a fortune teller or something, and it's like, bring me, if you want to speak to, one of your dead loved ones, she's spiraling out. She needs advice, and it's like
Yeah,
she
bring me
goes
a
to see.
toenail or something if you got it.
Yeah.
It's like, I got hair.
Yeah, and then it's like she gets to speak to Angval for like 5 minutes. Angval's like, stop fucking crashing out, brother. You got to lock in, bro. And then it's like, okay, she gets it together. I could see something like that, crystal ball type shit. But yeah, it'd be interesting if that lock of hair comes to be a thing. That also, like the hair thing did. I'm not gonna poke at it, but like the page right before the hair is out, like there's like some bandages or something. Like you can see that latch is like clearly like held on together, and then like you turn the page and like 3 long ass strands of hair are hanging out, and it's like the one that thing just kind of tied up. Like
I'm calling it right now. That's gonna be important later. Mark my words.
Oh,
Kip,
we'll see.
Kip, are you watching this, Kip? I know that this is your series, so
Kip, fuck with it.
Yeah, remember what I'm saying here, buddy.
Yeah, remember what I said. Don't listen to him.
No. If anything comes from that later, I'm instantly in his DMs like, yeah.
I called that shit.
Yeah.
Julian punching them rocks, man. He doing his thing out here and thinking about the future. I just want to see like how we get like what the future looks like, and if we are ever going to get to that timeline where Diana is like cloaked up, daggered, murdered the king, raising army of the dead, whatever she had going on, because that shit was freaky and cool as hell looking. And it's like, I feel like you can't get there to that type of point unless Julian has been killed or like brought over to the enemy side or something weird like that. Like maybe Julian does get captured and Diana and TT raises Diana, and as revenge, she seeks out Julian, kills the king and shit like that. I want to see how we get to that bad future that we saw.
For all we know, that could just be like the final arc of the series. Like the whole series is building up with like raising Diana to be a stable human being, but maybe something happens to Julian and then she goes ballistic, and then we get that literal like eclipse level on like near eclipse level travesty end of the world type thing.
That'd be fucked up
And
if
then
Julian is forced to put her down or like
Oh.
put in a situation where she's evil or some shit, and it's like, I didn't raise you like this, and she's like, sorry, bruh, this is the way it gotta be.
This is the way.
Do you know the way?
Do you know?
But yeah, that would be an interesting way to go about things, especially after him putting his resolve to to protect her now, like reinstating his resolve. Yeah. I thought someone was about to say something, but okay.
Nah, I was just waiting.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I said all I needed to say for Centuria. You guys got any other theories you want to talk about?
I think I'm all squeezed out. Gee.
Freshly squeezed.
Freshly squeezed. Okay. The skeeted stuff? I don't know if I'm here for that.
Alrighty.
You'll be there.
Yeah. Alrighty. Alright, so that was chapter 28 of Centuria. Alright, next up we got Dandadan chapter 170. And these chapters took a turn that I wasn't expecting. And I'm curious to see how this is going to play out, because based on what we got, we might be going more into yokai hunter type territory based on how things are going, and diving into other characters with supernatural powers that may or may not be part of our main group. How do you guys feel about this?
I think it's really interesting because we were talking about, I think in the last review, the possibility that like this chick is like actually cool and was looking for Momo for, not evil or nefarious reasons, but
yeah,
it looks like she's like a part of some kind of like weird squad that has to fulfill certain conditions to steal the abilities from others or whatever, and that's kind of like their goal right now, working for some like mysterious shadow man or whatever.
They must submit.
Yeah,
that's
I'm thinking Saint Germain, but the way they're building up the mystery, there might be another faction.
I think it's definitely Saint Germain. I mean, that's Saint Germain that asks,
The
like
obvious
in
one.
the last chapter, he asks Okaroon, like he corners Okaroon, and he tries to get him to yield, and so she was doing the same thing when she was chasing Momo in the library, and she was like, yield to me or whatever, and she had this weird knife, and then you see the same shit with last week in the chapter, and Saint Germain like finds Okaroon in the hallway, and he's like giving him all this fucking crazy knowledge, and he's like, "Do you yield to my intellectual superiority or whatever superiority?" And Okaroon's like, "Oh yeah, sure." He said,
You got me.
Yeah, you got me. I gotta get back to
But
what I was
then
doing.
Okaroon like bounced immediately. He was like, yeah, you got it, buddy, but I'm out of here. Boom. And then he like looked at his knife and like kind of put it away. So I think the conditions are that they have to verbally submit to you, and then you have to like maybe prick them with the knife, and then you get their abilities or whatever.
I think it's more of they just have to yield. And the reason it didn't affect Okaroon is because he doesn't have powers anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't have
nothing
powers.
To steal from him.
But I'm wondering why they both have this like box cutter then, or this letter opener like knife, because he like specifically looks down at the knife after like Okaroon says that and runs away like, oh, I didn't get to do the thing, but he yielded to me, so maybe I can spin the block and get that later. It's kind of like what I took from it.
The way I was looking at it was it was kind of like a thermometer. Like he looks at the knife and like it doesn't have, like maybe it was supposed to get some kind of inscription on it, or maybe it was supposed to glow, and he's like, huh, okay, whatever. And now, he doesn't know that Okaroon doesn't have his powers, and like the other girl is, yeah. Well, I mean, so when he looks at the knife and puts it away, like what I was thinking was that he either thinks it doesn't work, like maybe he was given this knife and told that this is how it works or whatever, or he's just is confused, doesn't know why, but Okaroon's going, and he's not like the type to like sweat it. He's not gonna be like, oh, why didn't my thing work, my master plan? He's just like, it is what it is, I'll walk away, this plan didn't work, I'll find another way, because he's been collecting like different like myths and stuff like that. So like I think he's just looking for some sort of like inscription to pop up, but he doesn't know that Okaroon doesn't have powers. So
yeah,
I think it's gonna.
Now that you say that, I do see it as like maybe Saint Germain doing this is a red herring, and basically what's going to come of this is that it is a different group, and they were the ones who provided him with the knife. And he was just testing it here, like, hey, this didn't work. Okay, whatever. But I do think that, there possibly is a different group attached to it, and that's where he got the knife from.
Well, I think actually, I think the group is just the gnomes, the little dudes, and like I think Germain. Yeah, I think they probably gave Germain a knife, told him how to work it, and he gave it to her or whatever, or like they gave it. Because the person in the shadows gave the knife to her, and at first I was like, this is Germain, but maybe the gnomes like assumed the shape of a human or something and did it. Because like whoever gave her the knife also somehow got the photo of her in her bra or whatever, and it's like that was in her bedroom. It would make sense if it was the gnomes, because like normally people can't see these little gnome fairy things, so like maybe she didn't see it. They got the picture and sent it to themselves, when she was asleep or whatever, because they were watching her. Maybe they like surround people who are like maybe it's kind of like a negative energy, like a Nin situation, like the chick on
emotionally vulnerable.
Yeah, like the chick in Hunter right now, the one who lost her sister, and she's like surrounded by like evil Nin beasts or whatever. It's something like that. So like she's like putting out this negative energy and shit, negative emotions, and she's like getting swarmed by these things. So they flocked to her, saw her vulnerable areas, and they're taking advantage of that, and like they for some reason want her to steal powers, but I mean, either way, yielding, forcing the opponent to yield is how you get the powers, but it looks like the knife has something to do with that. I think it'd be interesting if like she does actually manage to take Momo's powers, and like Saint Germain knows that she has a knife for us. So it's like, okay, so like if it didn't work for him and he's confused on why, and then he finds out that it worked for her, that's going to be like a weird kind of like, wait, why were you able to do it, but I wasn't able to steal Okaroon's powers type of deal.
Mm-hmm. Did anyone else like consider the fact that what he was holding was like the same thing that he like would place in his sword to utilize a yokai's power, like the same thing that he used to steal the fairy tale card's powers, and then put it into a sword to use? I think it was the same thing.
Oh yeah, because it was like some sort of like cartridge type of deal, and he put it in
I'm
his
thinking
sword.
the same thing.
Yeah. So maybe that's the same thing, but it still kind of like works like an injection. But I don't think they have to stab each other with it. Maybe just I don't know. I got to go back and look at the yokai thing and see how that works when they caught the like box video game thing, not video game, but board game. But yeah, this is an interesting situation, and it's funny because like we're recording this and the new chapter is out, so like the answer is probably already there, but we haven't read it.
So just to focus on this new girl a little bit more, we did find out her name. It is not Momo. It is Koki Yukishiro, and it looks like she has a pretty tragic story. You know, she was a prodigy. She was able to play the piano really well, and then something happened, and you know, now she has no talent or whatever. So it does bring in the question, what happened? But you know, she's getting bullied by kids at school. She's getting bullied by her family, and you know, she's desperate for attention, which is why she takes the picture in the first place. And it just kind of leads down a bad road, but at the same time, it kind of sets up a point for her redemption. You know, she's looking for her place, she's looking for friends, something similar to Okarun in the beginning. And, you know, I feel like the group's going to take her in with open arms once this arc resolves.
Yeah, I see that I see that happening. I could also see something potentially tragic happening as well at the end of this arc, especially like she knows like this stuff, and maybe whatever group she's working with, if they see that she will turn or if she'll fail, they'll probably either erase her memory or eliminate her. If they want to, if it ends up going that far. But but her personal story is something I'm very interested in, because like I didn't expect it to go like that route towards the end of towards like the middle portion of that chapter with that glimpse of her backstory. Because I'm like, I'm nervous where this is going, and thankfully it's just her hunting down and trying to take Momo's powers for some shady organization, not something else based on how that was being portrayed.
Yeah. One thing that Dandadan doesn't do though is like they're not like killing the kids. Like they'll exercise spirits and stuff. So like she's not gonna get like X'd off the roster. But like she might not become one of the homies, but maybe she'll, you know, get her act together and like they'll restore her public image, or maybe at some point in her life she got cursed and had her like her luck and her ability, her natural like talent removed somehow by some sort of deity or something, and they'll restore that and people will like her again, and it'll be like, you know, thanks guys, but you know, I'm gonna go and live my life now because I can do stuff without being a loser now. You know, I don't know.
Maybe.
I actually, you know, she might not end up becoming a part of the group. This feels similar to the story of the other chick. I don't remember her name, the one who would sing. It feels very reminiscent of that. So it might just be another chapter or another arc similar to that arc where, you know, they're kind of helping her return to her former glory.
Yeah, but that girl she does have a power though. She's like possessed by that like turtle spirit that was her like dead best friend or something.
I
but
mean,
like
she could have a power. We don't know yet.
Yeah. So far, I mean, she doesn't have one, but it can happen. She could get one. Something could happen. She could realize that she was possessed or something, sort of like a GG situation. But I don't know. I'm very interested to see what her deal ends up being. But this whole like hallway scene where they're like chasing her down the hallway, this shit is hilarious because GG does not take shit serious, and he's just bro, like they're chasing her down the hall.
You might go to enter.
And then Momola just mimicking Gigi the entire time.
Bro, fucking Gigi is just, bro, like this kid is not serious. They're like, she's sprinting and you know you gotta catch her, and he's just, what is this? Like the funky chicken? What is he doing, bro? Like,
I mean, look, in a life or death fight against an alien invasion, he was about to do the Kamehameha.
Yeah,
I mean,
but like,
why not?
Why? Yeah, why not?
No. These 2 pages, there's not a single page where he's making like a serious face. You have the first one where he's doing the weird ass like crab dance. The next panel down, he's got his lips puckered. The next panel he's in, he's got his thumbs up, eyes closed, puckering his lips. And then the one that makes me laugh the most is the one down from that where he's got like the baby face.
Yeah, he's got his hands together, the money hands. But another thing that just like tells me that like this is all from Saint Germain is Germain pops up right as they're chasing her, and he interrupts them. They're chasing her down the hall. He pops up right in between them and is like, "Stop running in the halls." And then that gives the girl just enough time to run into classroom and vanish. So like he clearly is involved in whatever shenanigans she got going on.
I don't know. I think it's a red herring.
It might be, but
We gonna see.
yeah, well, you're gonna have to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this solid chapter, and the chapter before was solid. We got a lot of little reveals, and you know, Dandadan doing Dandadan things. We getting character sad backstories and stuff. So this one was
Momo doing silly stuff with no normal person noticing what's going on.
Yeah, this one's a little more fucked because it's like adult blackmailing teenager with nudes or whatever. Kind of, you know, kind of out there, but we'll see where it goes, and maybe they'll get revenge. Hopefully.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see at this point.
Yeah. So once we're done recording this whole thing, I'm gonna go and read Dandadan and see what I missed.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I guess that's it for Dandadan then. Any other closing thoughts?
I'm good.
No, I'm good.
I am freshly skeeted.
All right. So that was All right. So that was chapter 170 of Dandadan. All right. Moving on, we're going on to chapter 114 of Gachiakuta, and looks like we got our setup for the next arc seemingly. And I'm actually curious to see what's going on, because I think Rudo is slowly starting to suspect Tamsi in this chapter without even truly realizing it. Because I didn't even think about this, probably because it's been a while since I've read the start of the information broker stuff. But Tamsi left a lot of hints in his dialogue when he was talking to Rudo in the previous chapters, that with information that he probably shouldn't know.
Where are you seeing that Rudo is starting to suspect Tamsi? Because like in their little like gesture.
Not like actually, but more like questioning, like how does he know that
Page
maybe
11.
someone else told him?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like seeds that's going to be in the back of his head, because he's like, how does he know about the choker maker? How does he know I paid the price?
It's
all
kind
that
of
stuff, and then.
It's kind of like when Suzukiri shows up with the tool, and it's like they could have, you know, not had that, but she gave it to Tokita, and he's like, I'm not going to ask where you got this. Is that kind of situation? So like, you know,
I don't think closer to the truth without suspecting the person specifically.
But even in this case, I don't think Tamsi like I don't think this was a hint. I think Tamsi slipped up, and it was like, because Tamsi said, you know, you got to ask the information broker about the Watchmen series, right? But Tamsi shouldn't have known that it was a Watchmen series. So it's like the word was that like we're gonna find out who's the choker maker, but like Tamsi came out and was like, yeah, you know, did he tell you about the Watchmen series? Like, how do you even why would you, Tamsi, why would you suspect it to be a part of the Watchmen series unless you know something about the Watchmen series?
That's gonna be like an epiphany, like light bulb moment
at
later.
Some point,
like, hey, why did you? Okay.
Yeah, so that just shows that there's far more pieces to the Watchmen series. So we got the boots, the gloves, the cloak, the chokers, and then the book are all the confirmed ones, unless there's something else. I think that's all of
jacket,
them.
shirt. Now. Call me glasses, jacket, and shirt man.
Oh hell no!
Something I want to point out: why on page 6 is Tamsi's head so damn small?
Page 6.
I
see that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, bro.
I didn't even peep that at first.
Yeah, well, he's like the hint you need.
He's been hanging out with the Centuria mangaka for too long,
bro. Yeah, his body is interesting. I do like. He's one where I want to see like what they look like without all the baggy clothes, because his like jacket sleeves are like very big and bird like. You know, he's got like the fucking Lugia fingers on his gloves on his like sleeve.
He's kind of birdie.
Yeah, he's birdie, and then I mean he's the angel, but like his hair is just like weird. It's like he's got these super long like branches of hair coming out in the front. Like, what's going on with bro? I need to know.
It's
what's up with dude?
But he is he's definitely ballsy because like there's some points where he definitely is giving away hints like this, like the hints you need to get what you want might be lurking closer than you realize. Literally me, like I'm the hint, like I'm the thing that can connect you to those two worlds. But like,
yeah, and it's like he better be careful like with this kind of like dialogue because like he can only get away with this shit around Rudo. Like you start talking like this around Engine, and it's up for you. You know what I'm saying?
It'd be hilarious.
It'd be hilarious that Engine overheard that and he's like, interesting.
Nah, I
hey,
think
let's just move on to let's go see August. This is probably nothing.
I think Engine probably would have already made a move or something if he overheard this type of thing. Tamsy's being very careful.
Oh yeah.
He's just playing with Rudo at this point, and specifically just Rudo.
Taking advantage of like his ignorance and naivety.
Yeah, but he's putting things together. Like, you know, the whole like the Raiders had Amo's boots but didn't know anything about Amo, and Jabber, you know, saying like I hate taking stuff when there's nobody to take it from. It's like back then I didn't think about it too much, but it's like he's really starting to put these pieces together, but just the big piece is right in front of him. It's like right under his nose.
Yeah, and that's always like really good for like mystery setups like these when like the audience knows what's good, but like the characters involved don't, but they're like piecing things together, but missing like, you know, the really big picture like right under their nose. It's like such a frustrating like situation because you just want them to get it. You know what I mean?
And then it's satisfying when they eventually figure it out.
Yeah, it's just really good drama when it's set up like this.
And he does a good job of like diverting his like thought process to some other place when he's like, yeah, Amo, you know, I'm sure she made a lot of enemies. She said she fucked with a lot of people, and you know, somebody clearly came back and beat her ass, and that's what happened. And it's like, okay, you know, now he's like, what?
You saying too much now. You lucky this kid's like 11 and stupid.
Yeah,
because like you say this shit around me, and I'm gonna be like, what you mean by that? Gee, hold on, wait a minute.
He's lucky he's got Shonen
now you're the prime suspect. You know what I'm saying? Like you know too much.
Yeah, but I mean, go ahead.
I would love if the commander of the cleaners, like with his like currently unknown power, like was watching over Rudo, heard this conversation, and started having his suspicion and is working on something himself in the background.
You're talking about Corvus?
Cordis, yes.
Yeah, bro definitely like got something going on in the background. Like that card is about to be played like eventually.
It's been over 100 chapters. I need to see him do something amazing.
What if he just shows up and it's like the shit is getting heated and he just shows up and cancels like Tams? He's like, yeah, we've been waiting on this fool to make a real move and like in front of people so we could like, you know, make a example out of him or whatever.
Yeah, we've been building a case on bro for X amount of time.
Yeah.
Imagine he set something up in secret with the Hell Guard with Zonka's older sister.
Ooh.
And then
that'd be cool. Like, they have all of his agents in the dark.
Like this,
and he teams up with the literal like police force of that world.
It would make a lot of sense because this isn't just a Rudo like issue. Like I know that Rudo has a lot like, you know, going on inside of like Tamsy's like motivation and whatnot, but like everyone has a lot to gain from figuring out that Tamsy is doing what he's doing because he can literally like, you know, go from above to below. You know what I mean? And that's like something that everybody in this world is interested in. So like,
yeah, it's like having gold in this world.
Yeah, like bro, like Tamsy like might get a little bit too wrapped up in this Rudo trolling business. Like his tunnel vision like might get him like fucked up with like the other entities involved and be like, hold on, wait a minute, bro, you can travel like up there? Oh yeah, no.
Oh, that would be so great if that
like
happens.
Somebody catches him doing a little like too much with his string powers. It was like, hey man, like I see you like holding, you know, these two, you know, doing the Spider-Man thing. Like you hold like this train back, but like could you maybe also like maybe make wings and you know fly or something? Could you build a ladder for us to like climb up? Is that something you can do, Tamsy? It's like, wait a minute, are you the guy?
Yeah. For real,
something. I know we're still focusing on this chapter, but let me just say something real quick about the previous one. Kuro is a crow.
Yeah.
Well,
so, he doesn't remember his original form, and maybe this is just like the form he's taking for like travel reasons.
But
he keeps an eye on everything.
That does bring up the question of what Kuro actually is.
Right.
Well, like that also kind of goes.
Is this a vital instrument and he lost his memory and he can't remember his true form, and that's the lost memories that he's trying to look for? or is he just some other entity that is just lost in this world trying to discover what his true purpose is or something?
Well, that's a
Also,
really interesting aspect of his character then, if he's an information broker that has all this information about literally everything going on in this world, but the one thing he can't remember is who he truly is. That would be like a
Yeah.
And
really
like the
good
true
point.
origins of this world.
Yeah, like for his character arc would be like really like I'm already like dummy interested like in like I'm way more interested in Kuro now that like we know at least like it's implied that that's like his main motivation is to find out that one thing about himself despite
Mhm.
having like so much information about everyone else. Like he even tells Rio like last chapter like, "You don't want to know about your mom, G?" And it's like, "Ah, shit, okay." But you don't even know who you are, bro. Like that's just cool
yeah.
to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that it confirmed because remember last time I was saying like I feel like Kuro isn't like I feel like it's like a person in a fat suit, and even
Yeah.
Rio's like, why don't you like put your fingers in your gloves? And it's like this, they, you know, it wasn't just a thing. It wasn't just like
Yeah.
me, you know, like going tinfoil hat. Like he really is
Yeah.
not who he
Who
appears
he
to
looks
be.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
And he answered that in like a funny way, like, bro, like it's easier to take the gloves off when your fingers aren't fully inside the sleeves, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But it's like that's like a thing, you know what I mean? Like that's not just a joke. Like it was used for comedy, but like there's a real reason probably why he doesn't put the gloves on all the way.
Yeah, maybe
Wait,
he just maybe he doesn't know how. Yeah,
what if Kuro is I'm brain farting on the main character's name, Rudo. Yeah.
Rudo.
What if Kuro is Rudo's father's vital instrument?
Huh?
So I wasn't thinking that, but I was kind of thinking somewhere along those lines because when Rio says nobody asked you to like find my mother or whatever, she says if you're that desperate to tell people stuff, forget about me. Tell Rudo what that trash piece that Tori was, which was the giant trash piece they were inside of. I was like, what the fuck was? What do you mean? Tell her what it really is. Like, was that his dad's divided? Well, you know, is that like his ancestors? You know, creation, or is it like a sorcerer's stone type of deal? Like, are they, you know, doing the Full Metal Alchemist, sacrificing thousands of people to make an what's sorcerer's stone? Like, she says, tell him what that trash beast was, and it's like, it was a trash beast, wasn't it? The fuck, what do you
Yeah.
mean? And then
Yeah.
she's like, tell him your real identity. But even, you know, he goes through the part where he's like, I don't even know. You know, I've long since
Yeah.
forgotten my form, and he changes into this crow. First thing I thought when I saw that crow though was like, I mean, he says he's forgotten his original form, but like 2 weeks, the 2 chapters before this, remember he tells them to like meet somebody. He's like, you know, in 2 weeks, go to this place and meet somebody, meet like a white crow or something, and then he changes into a black crow. It's like maybe the person who made the choker is like his brother or something. Yeah, he's in 2 weeks, South will be holding this doll festival. Go there and look for a white crow. The crow will lead you to someone who knows where to find the choker maker. But if the choker maker
Oh shit.
catches wind, then your target will escape. Tell no one.
Mhm.
And then he turns into a black crow, and it's like, is the white
Yeah.
crow and the black crow related? Like, is that his brother or something? Or
Now that's starting to remind me of like Billy Bat.
yeah, it's like some weird, you know, writing on the wall. Who wrote this? You know, I wrote this. No, this. You know, you stole this idea from a guy 1,000 years ago. Type shit. It's
Yeah.
some weird flippy flapping going on, and
Yeah.
Kuro has definitely become a much more interesting character with the last chapter.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And I wanna mention like last chapter too, like while I have it pulled up from like the earlier conversation, I really like Aisha as a character,
Mm.
especially with her role as like healer. I think it's really important that if you're going to have a healer character, you know, in your story for stakes reasons, I think it's good to give them, you know, limits and conditions like the kind that we see in this character of Aisha, because it looks like she has to like be near an outlet, she has to plug her shit into something. You have to be like in a pretty like controlled space to where she can concentrate. You know what I mean? It's not just someone who can just like pull up on the battlefield and fucking touch you and like bring you
Yeah.
back to 100% health at like any time. So it's like if
Unless
you're gonna have a healer in your story, I feel like it should be done in a way, you know, akin to this, to where
Yeah.
you have to be in a specific setting, you have to like have a couple conditions associated with it. It's not just easy to do. Like if she isn't like perfectly concentrated, she can accidentally, you know, fry you to a crisp or whatever. Like that's how you do that shit, is like off the battlefield after the conflict is over in a controlled safe space. And then, you know, it allows the character to be removed from conflict for X amount of time so that you don't have to worry about like Deus Ex Machina type like writing to where it's like, oh, I'm back suddenly, even though all my ribs were broken and
Yeah.
my arms were cut off and my heart was exploded. Like, nope, you actually got to like be taken away from the story for a little bit before you're healed up after extremely traumatic damage, and like it's kind of a process, you know what I mean? Because like healers are cool. You know what I mean? Like healers are always going to be tight. Like it's a very like important role and class like in these supernatural stories, but you can't just have a, you know, you can't just have like an effortless pull up and heal everybody like type character at the same time, because that removes the tension. So I just appreciate Kei Arana for introducing Aisha and her abilities the way that she did.
Until she rolls up to the battlefield with a generator and some top-notch sound canceling headphones.
And I mean, if they go through a process, like if it's a big war or something, and like they got tents set up, and it's like they brought generators for like the med area, like yeah, sure, but like it's nice that like I feel like we probably won't ever see this character like skydiving from a helicopter and going like I'm gonna heal this dude, you know. It's like there's never like okay, you know, like we're not gonna be expecting to see her in high, you know, octane intense moments where people are fighting and like,
and
you
even
know,
if it is a thing like that, like Kei Arana seems to be like, you know, very conscious of like the idea that healers can remove stakes and tension from the story. Otherwise, why set up the healer in this way in the first place? So if we ever did see Aisha like on a battlefield or something like that, I'm confident that Kei Arana would like, you know, keep the stakes there by like just having enemies like immediately target Aisha in a way that removes her from the conflict, like immediately after like healing like one person or something. Like you get one crazy healing moment where like the battle is still going on and a person re-enters the fight because of Aisha, and then she's immediately like shot with like a sniper rifle or something and can't heal no more people or something like that. The enemy's gonna be competent enough to go like, no, we need to shut that shit down right now. We can't just have this chick like running around and healing everybody and taking all the tension away from the story. So
until she turns around and starts frying people from the inside out.
Yeah, or she starts using it offensively by like not caring about the healing aspect and just starts fucking like shooting crazy Tesla coils out at everybody and like stunning them and shit.
I do wonder though, like how would, if she got into a situation where she was like, is she the type to heal an enemy? Like if something happened and you know like you know she's so driven by her like need or want to like heal people, like you know, kind of Goku giving Frieza a sensu bean type of deal. Like if you know somebody, a bad guy is like bleeding out and dying, and it's like the only person that can save them is her, and everybody's like, you know, fuck that dude, but she's like, no, I got it. You know, I can't like turn my back on a life that's like.
We've seen medics like that, like in stories too. You know what I mean? Who are just impartial and like it doesn't matter what side they're on. Like if someone is like on the verge of death, they like feel compelled to like use their skills and abilities to keep that person from dying, regardless of who they're affiliated with. We've seen that before too. So that I honestly like that inside of medic characters personally. A lot of people might think that that's like dumb or something like that, but I think that does a lot for those kind of characters.
That way it's
on like
not
a writing
just
level.
That way it's not just like this character is here to heal Rudo when he gets a boo boo or whatever. It's like they could possibly heal the bad guy, and then you know it's like the bad guy might go and continue being bad, or maybe they could be like, you know, you guys are all right, man. I'm gonna turn on my faction or whatever. You never know how it goes, but I do like that they gave Kei Arana gave this character, you know, a lot of backstory, and there's even trauma with it. Like she said she was terrified of electricity for a while, and it took some time to conquer the fear.
Right.
And,
it's not just, oh, I was born a healer and I have like the Deus Ex Machina juice. Here you go. There's just like so much writing dedicated to why she's able to do the things that she can do. And there's so many conditions and limitations set in place that just feels really good for a healer.
Yeah. And her design's cool.
And her design is really good.
She looks dope. And, you know, the chick she shows up with, I forgot her name, but, you know, I love her too for two obvious reasons. Two very large unzipped reasons. But yeah, hopefully we see more of her, because she looks like she be boxing. The one
she's
with
not
the
a
knockers
she's not a giver, but
she look like she boxes. But yeah, that was last week's chapter. So let's
go back. Let's circle it back.
Where
Rudo was taken to August's workshop as he's like getting ready to set up like a costume for like this what was it, a doll festival or something?
Yeah, it's really on brand for the season. Like it feels like this universe
Halloween.
is like Halloween basically. Yeah,
it is. They even say it's on Halloween.
Yeah, it's on October 31st.
Wait, what?
Yeah, August. Yeah, it's October 31st, and August says like it happened. He said even better this year it's on Halloween. page 16, and then on 17 he's like, even better, this year it's on Halloween, October 31st, Halloween, baby.
Yeah, he's holding up a
1031.
poster that says 1031.
Yeah, so they have
Shit.
Halloween in this universe.
Nice.
Now the question
We'll
is,
get a Halloween themed arc
will the doll
that's still
festival
going on after Halloween.
will
Nice
the
water.
doll festival start on Halloween or around Halloween?
Oh, you mean like in real life?
Yeah.
What day is Halloween? Let me look it up.
It's in like a
31st.
week.
Yeah, it's the 31st. I'm stupid, but
It's
it's
next Thursday.
10 days from now.
Idiot.
That's a Thursday.
Next Thursday.
So yeah, so we'll probably get that chapter. I mean, because this comes out on like Tuesdays. We'll get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday. So it'll be,
2 days
we'll get it
before.
like 2 days before. So I think we'll get. That's
So for Japan, they'll get it the day after Halloween.
Yeah, so we'll get it next Tuesday, not tomorrow, but next. So tomorrow we'll probably like show some shenanigans. Maybe I feel like they probably won't show Rudo's like Halloween costume until like the event. Somebody gets a new costume, they don't show it until like it's time to show out. So like you'll probably see Rudo getting fitted, and they'll have like the tape or whatever to measure his measurements or whatever. Or August probably knows his measurements because August did the costume and shit before. But we'll probably get a bunch of goofiness next week, and then like the festival will be the week after this new chapter, and we'll see everybody will pull up with their new costumes on. It'll be dope.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how this plays out. Kailurana's art is really great. I can't wait to see how she like goes all out with a Halloween themed arc. See how that goes with giving everyone different costumes.
Yeah, I hope, like I said, I hope this arc is a little longer, like 5 or so chapters, because I'm still just salty over the Graffiti Town thing. I wish that was a little longer. So I'm hoping that this thing ends up being, not saying it's got to be 20 chapters, but 5 to 10. I want to see some cool shit, man. Show me this new place. We're going to a new location. We're meeting new characters. We're going in new outfits. Don't give everybody new outfits for them to take them off and never wear them again after 2 chapters. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I keep forgetting her name. What's the name of the girl with the dinosaur costume?
Oh
Gita?
man,
Gilta?
Guita, I think. Gita.
Gita. Yeah, she's probably just gonna imagine Rudo, inspired by her vital instrument, uses his costume with his 3R in a fight in this arc.
I wonder if they'll probably just go dressed up as themselves in their costume, and people, I want to see the reaction, like, oh man, cool costume, bro. Like, how are people gonna respond to that? But yeah, I can't wait to see what Rudo dresses up as, and Engine and shit, obviously. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I guess this is gonna be cool too, because like August, we never get to see him. So I mean, this is something that he's hyped up for. So like maybe he doesn't know that there's gonna be trouble in the town, and so like he's gonna get there, and he's been waiting for this doll festival. Like this seems like one of his favorite things in the entire world. He's been going since before he was born. He said basically, yeah, since he was 0 years old. So like, imagine.
I would love it. Oh, sorry. Sorry. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, like, think about like some drama breaking out, and it's like this is his Christmas. It's like this is what he's been waiting on all year, and like we've never seen this character outside of the lab. So it's like you piss him off. What is he gonna do when people start trying to crash the Halloween party?
Yeah.
I would love to see if like August just enjoying himself the entire time, and the entire crew noticed some shady shit going around, and so they're trying to do like splitting up like one side, making sure August has the time of his life, and the other side is trying to take care of the whoever's going to try and ruin it. And that'll be like the A and B plot of this mini arc. And meanwhile, August is either getting through it, not knowing what the heck happened, or to find out what happens and instantly somehow solves the problem, revealing he's one of the strongest characters in this show.
Yeah. I wonder.
That'd be hilarious.
I wonder how they're gonna animate this chapter when it comes to the part where they're doing the flailing around. Like, are they gonna like have voices? So like when Rudo and Engine are like throwing their arms around doing the like hand gesture conversation, are we gonna hear like Rudo's voice as he said, like he's just thanking it or whatever, or is it like just gonna be
the voices are just gonna be like different wind resistance like sound effects like with their clothes and shit?
Yeah. It's a lot of dialogue that's thrown around with the hand signs, so they probably gonna have to like have the characters actually speaking like that to speak the roles. I mean, we're still gonna have to read it in the sub.
But
I
it'll
don't-
sound different.
Yeah, I don't even
Yeah.
I don't even know if they need to have like voices for that. I feel like you could just like do like wind resistant sound effects and then have like subtitles.
Yeah,
That'd
that's
be-
what I was thinking. Like,
that'd
is
be
it
good.
gonna be subtitles with no like voice, or is it gonna be voiced like in their head? Like, you know, when somebody like Naruto, he's like thinking to himself, you can hear his voice.
Right. Yeah, I think it'll just be like Japanese subtitles, like with different like wind resistant sound effects, is my guess.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
then
maybe.
we'll have like English subtitles, obviously, like superimposed over that for
yeah,
the
Yeah.
yeah
that'd be cool either
But-
way. Can't
Yeah.
wait.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it for me for Gachiakuta. What about you guys?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Freshly
Uh,
squeezed.
I liked, you know, I appreciate having Follow here, the guy who was with them along as they were doing the sign language, and he's like, "Whew, what a relief!" I thought I wasn't going crazy. The kid at the end.
Yeah,
Mm.
that was
Yeah.
awesome. But yeah, I guess that was it for Gachiakuta chapter 114. All right, and next up we are going to be talking about Galaxias chapter 8, That Dragon's Method. Now, this was actually a really cool chapter after that brief hiatus well, I say brief, month-long hiatus that the manga was on for still unknown reasons. But it definitely came back with a bang. So, what do you guys think about the chapter?
Okay, so first off, Bronze,
Mm.
his design is very weird. I like his design, but I would definitely prefer it if, you know, his mouth stayed covered. Like, if you look at the panel where he's revealed, where you can't see his mouth, he looks much
Yeah.
cooler than it does when you can see his mouth and his chapped ass lips.
True.
Like, if they would have just kept that, I would be a-okay with his design, because I don't know, the bald head, the like wax dripping off his face, the two different color eyes just looks cool, and I feel like the lips kind of ruin the design, but
Yeah,
It
I
makes it a
agree.
bit more off-putting.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think like without the mouth, it kind of looks like a ninja type of deal. Like he looks like a sludgy, slimy ninja type, like a Mortal Kombat type of thing. But like you put the
Those
lips on it, and
explosions.
yeah, but now you put the lips on it, it's like now it's like something over, like a layered effect. It's like weird. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
it just threw me off. But other than that, this chapter, oh my god, this chapter was amazing. Like, starting off with
A gag?
yeah, where he just like rips the prison bars to the side, and he's just like, all right, well, it's time to leave, I guess.
Yeah,
And Joe's like, this is supposed to be some epic adventure. At least dig a hole. Make it more exciting.
yeah.
I
The escape, their escape plan's fun.
Yeah, and then you go into like a big old explosion for Bronze showing up, and I don't know. I never get tired of the reveal that he's a dragon, because it's always so cool.
Yeah,
The
they always,
mangaka knows how to make it as epic as possible every time, considering he has to hide his tail.
yeah,
Yeah,
they always make a scene out of it.
Like
And-
every time, like that
and-
one, like when he reveals his tail, it just looks so cool and detailed.
yeah, the way they
So
have
wait.
like the hole behind him, just kind of like illuminating him, it's so cool.
So wait, you
Yeah.
think the tail is like hidden? I thought it was just like not. I thought it was like a growing thing or whatever, like a Super Saiyan type of deal.
I mean, it could
Like-
work like that. It just crawls back inside of his body.
That must feel
Okay.
super uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean it's like notch, so maybe it kind of stack, like maybe all those like notches and bones kind of like come together and stack up like Pringles or whatever, and then like when he activates, it expands or some shit. I don't know. I am interested now because I always just thought like it was like it grew and then shrunk or whatever, so he didn't have a tail, and then he was like, all right, power up time, tail, boop, 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 boop. It, like kind of notches out, you know, tail notch by notch or whatever.
Yeah, that might
Uh,
be the case.
One thing that I did find interesting is just how strong, like, this Bronze dude is obviously a jobber, because he tries to his sludge detonates, and he just suppresses the explosion with pure grip strength. He just holds the explosion and then
That is so
punches
cool.
Bronze with it.
Yeah, Narrade's different, man. I can't wait to see him get into a situation where he actually has to like fight somebody and not like
It might have to be Chalk.
his two fights so far. He's just dusted his opponent, and it's
Yeah.
you know like
The kangaroo lady gave him a good fight until he like copied her move,
I don't.
and then they
that
were still
was-
ready to keep going.
I felt like that was more like a silly fight, though. It wasn't like the
True.
first guy was a real thing. Like that guy was coming to like kill Geo, and then this guy is here, and he's like, I'm gonna kill you guys. Bow down, fucking monkeys and shit like that. Like these are two like real bad opponents or whatever. The old lady, I don't think she was like a bad person. It was a joke.
No, yeah, but I do think like Chalk and Schmidt will definitely be a challenge because Chalk, once they find out what he does, Neera's gonna have to try and fight without having Chalk's left hand touch him at all. Otherwise, he'll turn into salt. Meanwhile, Schmidt will cast illusions or transform to kind of screw with him. So hopefully, I kind of hope that this adds like a bit back into chapter 1 where like Jill didn't really like have any much time to like actually be part of the action when it came to the kangaroo fight. But I would like to see her just find a way to like make this fight more manageable for Nereid, similar to how she literally just like exploded a shotgun bullet in a guy's face by hitting it.
Yeah, that
Like
was
in
cool.
chapter 1.
I'd love to see more of that because it is kind of the point like where like this dude, he's got like this sludge shit. It's like, how would she be able to fight this? I want to see what other tricks and shit she'll pull out the bag, because I kind of forgot like she spit that shotgun round and then bashed it and blew it up in the dude's face. That was cool. We need to see more of that because it's kind of I mean, with the delays, it's like we just haven't seen much because there's been like one chapter in the last fucking feels like 2 months. So
by the time this video comes out, I believe we'll be getting 2 chapters on Tuesday since chapter 9 got delayed a week in terms of the translation.
I hope so, because this was a really good chapter to come back from. Like we took that break, and they came back with a banger. Like I'm guessing this is the start of volume 2 because we got the volume cover for the first volume. But
it's out the volume.
Yeah, so this is the start of volume 2. So this is a really good chapter to open with. It was really strong. And it's filled with everything. We got they're breaking out of the prison. The people are like looking at Geo stuff. Like, what's this shit? And this funny stuffed animal, and then her underwear, and fucking Nereid's like, you guys are you're supposed to lock up bad guys. What are we doing in here? I think it's interesting that the jail is connected to a river, so it's like they could just drown or freeze people. Point. Yeah, that'll probably be a thing soon.
I think. Action wise, the chapter was really strong, but narratively wise, it was a very weak chapter, especially because of the long break. Like it's cool, but it doesn't feel like enough.
I think it'll work as a good setup because you got all the stuff with the humans that were like keeping Geo and Nereid as prisoners, and then they didn't believe what they said, and now they kind of got to because they just Nereid just beat fucking Sludge's head in, and Sludge is kind of like keeping them oppressed or whatever. So, or Bronze is his name. He's a Sludge dragon. I think it'll be a good setup, and these guys will the narrative stuff that was kind of seeded in here will have a bigger impact later. Maybe these people will help take down a dragon too. Like maybe they'll like form a militia and all run at one guy with spears or something as he's about to like kill Nereid or something. I don't know, something like that. But this dude's design, like you said, the mouth thing, weird. I wish they would have kept it with no mouth now that you said it. But I love his tail, the like peacock feathers or whatever this is, and I feel like his voice, like when I see this, I think of like a childish like voice, like a kid. I feel like he's gonna have like a high pitched, squeaky kind of kid voice. So
because of the mouth, the only voice I can associate with him is like Shigaraki's voice.
Ooh,
I can see that.
That might work.
It's the chapter
or Denji voice.
Nope, just Shigaraki.
I'm just thinking something kind of like you're standing straight up, like a little kid in like a big person's body. Like I don't know. It's maybe one day we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't get axed. But yeah, these people are sweating their fucking balls off. They're like, bro, you need to bow down right now. This guy's not playing around. He's bad news. And
They're
Our
just like,
boy
nope.
doesn't. Yeah, he don't give a fuck. He's like, if I get this guy out of here, I can go. It's like,
I do like going into Bronze's entrance, where we just have one panel of just the sludge coming down. Then the next panel was just the explosion right after. That was a nice transition.
Yeah, and then he just kind of like oozes through the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at first
Very
I thought it
creepy.
was like a ghost or something. I was like, what's happening here? It's like, is there like a fucking wall phaser coming through? And he's like, nope. Everybody, where'd you go?
It's kind of weird because like his power is like detonating sludge, but here it just looks like acid.
It
Yeah,
could have multiple properties.
It
yeah.
could. That's fair.
It's probably, I think it's definitely multiple properties. But
Yeah.
the detonating thing, that shit's cool as hell. And this last page is very cool. This is a very strong page to come back on. The fucking
Oh yeah.
I'm missing my memories and I'm traveling, learn who I really am. This shit, like him on top of the
And
rubble
then
with the light
and then
behind him.
and then that last panel of that devilish smile being like, so let's get along.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a
like,
good chapter.
Yeah, this was a good one to come back to.
I disagree, but you know, we'll leave it there.
Hater. We'll see what the next two chapters got. Assuming we get if we get two chapters tomorrow, then this will probably feel better.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we get some meaty chapters coming soon. Because this, I mean, I feel like it's a good series. It's got some kinks to get through. Like last time we were talking about how the information was being presented kind of felt weird and janky. And
that was it could have been because the mangaka wasn't feeling too great, so just wanted to like add in some stuff before going on that unknowingly long hiatus, possibly because it was only 13 pages that chapter.
Still, but like, if this series doesn't like get axed and it goes for 100 chapters, nobody's gonna look back and say like, oh, they got sick at chapter 7. Like they're just gonna be like, this felt weird to read. And it is what it is. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. But any closing thoughts on the chapter? Any more closing thoughts?
Nothing from me.
Yeah, I'm cooked.
All right, so that was Galaxias chapter 8. All right then. So moving on, we're heading on to Ranger Reject chapter 157, A Past You Can't Erase. Now, obviously 157 was great, but also 156 also gave us some pretty dense stuff as well in terms of information and reveals, and some new characters sprinkled into things as well. Because oh boy, was a lot going on these chapters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a strong batch of chapters. Like these last two chapters, Negi has not been shorting us on information or hype moments, and reading I feel like we really gotta talk about some bits and pieces of 156 before we're at the same time as talking about 157, because a lot happened, man, and we didn't talk about 156 last week. So 156 is like, when I was reading that chapter, there was like two times, like I would maybe like 7 pages in, the thing I was like, okay, I see Negi's gonna make me go and redo my like Dragon Keeper video that Dragon Tool video that I did on my channel, because I did a video like going over all the known dragon tools, and then like these characters are whipping out like this new Rui Canaria. They whip out like dragon tool whip form, and then they got like bomb form, and I think there was another one, and I was like, bro, what are these new forms? Like what are this new tech? And then we get to the end of that chapter, and Red is now tapping into the dragon without a tool. And it's like I made the Red Keeper video, and I was like, I was talking about that theory where I think Red is like actually related to a dragon priestess, like maybe a half son, like maybe his mom was a dragon priestess and his dad was like a regular dude or like a bodybuilder or something, and he's like part dragon priestess because he's tapping into this power without a tool. And Yellow's like, without a tool, huh? You're fully connected now. And it's like, this is a whole new thing. He's got like horns and shit now. The homeless man has powered up, and it's a vibe, man.
Yeah, and
I mean, so say is the good guy.
I just, so the other form you were talking about was the modified dragon blaster, which isn't new. We did see that in like the first chapter because they used it to blast them away. But there's also like the weird like spinny curvy sword and that doesn't look like a divine gadget. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's probably more like because that has the like textures on it that tools usually have, like the actual divine dragon tools. So that's probably like a replica or like one of not yellow because yellow keeper has 4 of his cartridges and he's missing the one Suzukiri has, but she does the I think it's a girl, the excuse me, Rui person. They did the whip form and then uh it looks like a grenade or something. Like there's a dragon tool like on the ground next to Sosei's feet, and it says bomb form, and then it explodes. So like, there's new forms for that. I remember the gun though. Yeah, that was in chapter 1, and then they were advertising it as a toy for like chapter 2. But other than that, we haven't seen it. So I'm happy that we get to see this like blaster again in action.
Yeah, and we also get introduced to the second class for the Yellow Battalion, Jasmine Klein, and this dude is like half dragon. Like he kind of reminds me of Magatia, but not really.
Yeah, it's like
Like,
they're researching on themselves and stuff, and this kind of goes to what we are talking about with when we are talking about like how Yellow is probably prolonging his life, and it's like these people giving their body to the cause, and this guy is half dragon. He's like, this is clean energy, man, it's all good, but they still attack Sosei down here, and shit is not going good for these guys because he's kind of built different. The homeless clone man is very strong.
Yeah, and so one point I do want to talk about from 157 uh that I didn't really think about before is really the interaction with Suzu. Oh God. Oh, I choked on my
Uh-oh.
spit.
He did. Uh-oh.
Yo.
So the
Gotta get better
interaction.
at swallowing, G.
Huh?
Hey, pause. Um,
Take some notes from Yato.
Bruh. What does that even mean?
You're a real
so,
swallower, G. No, I'm
You
kidding.
got
All
you
right,
got
let's
the
get back to
wrong
it.
guy.
it's the interaction between Sosei and Suzukiri back during the three-way battle, because Suzukiri is like, hey, you know, after being given life, they have the right to live it, and Sosei's like, no, they don't. And the interesting part about this is at that current point in time, Sosei
Is that
didn't know he
Sosei
was a
saying
clone.
that?
No,
Yeah,
well,
Sosei said that to her back in when they found her clones underground and she was trying to free them.
Oh,
He
yeah.
said that to her.
And this is
well,
before he knew that he was also
Yeah.
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so now it's kind of like a moment for his character to realize, okay, yeah, I was wrong. They did deserve life, and I'm just like that. But at the same time, because of Sosei's character, it's completely possible that even then he knew, or that, even now it's like, I don't care about those clones. I'm me. I'm special. But it
Yeah.
does look
Yeah.
like it's getting to him.
Yeah,
I,
this immediately made me think of like, almost like a metatextual like hint to like very pressing subjects in like real life as far as like empathy and like shit goes, like in from like person to person, like you don't truly understand what someone else is going through until you experience it yourself type shit. Like I immediately thought of like Back to Blue Until It Happens to You,
yeah.
like type shit. Like when I was like seeing that with Sosei's character, I was like, oh shit, because like Negi's not afraid of like putting that kind of shit like in the story and whatnot.
Right.
Like there's a lot of
yeah.
like analogs to like real life politics and like just like very pressing like social subjects and whatnot from like human to human like character stuff in Ranger Reject as well. So I'm sure that there's a little bit of that like going on here with this Sosei realization of like, oh my god, I'm a clone too, and I said that shit earlier, but now I realize like the error of what I said because I'm actually experiencing it type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing that I wanted to point out, because I didn't notice it the first time through, but when Wendy tackles Hisui from behind, and she's like, Wendy, was it, attacking from behind is cowardly, I'll protect Yellow's butt. In the next panel over, where Hisui says, let go of me, you dumbass, there's someone walking up. and I wonder who that is because I don't think it's who's revealed later in the chapter. So who else is there now to jump in on this fight?
So that is who I initially thought it would be. I don't know if I think it's anyone different now, but I was still kind of going with it being Chidori. But I think I think that's Hisui saying you, Wendy was it, but then I think that's Wendy saying attacking from behind is cowardly. Yeah. So like they're calling Hisui a coward for like don't attack Yellow. But whoever this person is, I think I want to say Chidori, but it would be interesting if it's someone else. I mean, it could very well be Suzukiri if if Chidori is here, Chidori was with Suzukiri like 10 minutes ago from what we know. So they probably, rode over here together and in the last moment when Shinya needs to perform or do something, she could, whip out the remote and be like, pause, bitch, zap your dumb ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were saying something. Oh, just about the clone thing. Yeah, so I'm really glad they touched back on the whole Sosei calling out the clones thing because I remember when that happened. Like, it was a big deal because like he was saying clones don't deserve life, they're not real. Real people are born from love between a mother and father or whatever, and you and your folks don't deserve to live. And then right before the explosion happened when he got betrayed by Yellow, like it kind of all flashed, like you could see that he like realized it, but I think immediately he the blast happened and he lost his memories, and like I don't think he remembered any of that, so we never got to see him like deal with that information until now when it's like seeing the yellow tool and remembering Suzukiri, because he probably hasn't thought about Suzukiri for a year and a half, and like hearing her name or whatever and seeing like things that represent her is like, oh shit, it brings back that memory, and he's like, fuck, I did say that thing, and now he's like having to unpack that shit and realize what he said and also who he is. But I think what you were saying before is right. He thinks he's special. So it's like, yeah, this shit sucks. And what I said was kind of fucked up. But at the same time, I'm kind of me and I'm the fucking good guy and I'm the hero. So like none of them, they still don't matter. Like the shit I said sucks, but like I'm here. I got a mission. I can't let that shit get in the way. I got to beat your ass. Like that's that. And it, like that whole situation just it always makes me think to like at the end of the theme song for Ranger Reject, at the very end when D is like in Red's hand and he's like looking at him, D is like looking up at Red. It's like he's looking in a mirror. So like D is a clone, Red's a clone. D is an immortal, which is there's millions of them, and Red's a clone, who knows how many, and they're both being forced to play this game, and their strings are being manipulated, but Red just didn't know that he was being manipulated the same way that D was, and it's like now he's having to unpack and realize what the fuck has been going on this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you have Chidori showing up, and it's my goat.
The
he's
goat.
back.
Chidori, the goat.
Big goater.
I love, first off, Sosei's reaction, because he has no idea whose side Chidori's on, so he's assuming that now he has to fight Chidori and Shinya. But then you have this last panel, and I just find it so cool because he's just Yellow Keeper, Shinya Kiritani. It's time you face up to your actions, and that is raw. But on top of that, the fact that he looks so much taller than Shinya, and he has his hand on his head, it reminds me. It reminds me of that scene from Batman. I forget what it's called. The third one with Bane, when Bane puts his hand on the dude's shoulder, and he's like, "Do you feel in charge?"
Oh man,
That's what that scene reminds me.
Oh man, Chidori breaks his back.
Yeah, I would love to see that. It's about time for Chidori to activate in this kind of situation too, because it's like we go too much longer with Shinya just running rampant and doing all this shit, and we might have to start like looking at Chidori a little bit weird, like how much are you going to let happen through your inaction type shit when we know that you're like on our team or whatever. So it's just like good that he's introduced here, ready to fight for us and not give a fuck about this Ranger shit anymore in like a very like mask off kind of way. Like, all right, I can't play both sides anymore. It's time for me to beat this nigga's ass.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool if he just, after this confrontation, grabbed Sosei and they dipped with the dragon tool, and so now they're only now like half of the like there are only like 2 actual dragon tools with the Rangers. Meanwhile, the other 3 are with Chidori and Tsuzukiri. So it's kind of
Yeah.
more of an even playing field now between
So
the Neo Rangers and them.
well, the boots are still with Pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
The Buddhist. Oh, so technically they'd only have one real working pair of Divine Dragon tools,
Yeah.
unless they
Official.
decide to,
No, they
unless they
wouldn't.
find a way to make more, which they probably will after seeing that shrine.
If Chidori takes Shinya's divine weapon, um, they don't have, besides the boots, they don't have any divine weapons. Because Soma doesn't have a divine weapon because Suzukiri took blues. And
Yeah.
then technically she, well, no, not technically, she does have reds, but Tokita, there you go. God. He has a part of the red divine tool. But yeah, that would just leave the boots.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like cartridge weapons. So like
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if all of
Um,
the because you know like Tokita has the one of the red cartridges, but I don't remember if any other the word cartridge is crazy when you add an S at the end. Bro, that is hard to say. But there's I mean they're making more tools, they're making more weapons, but they can't, you know, from the looks of it, they can't make any more of these mainstay weapons. I still think Suzukiri in the end is gonna die and become the 6th weapon somehow. But
Oh no.
yeah, there's a lot going on here, man, and this chapter was dope. I love always love Yellow doing his like wall walk thing where he's like walking down the side of a building or something, and it is like down here is like when I saw this, I'm just thinking like, what is he soundproofed the studio, like all these little triangles on the wall, like he just it looked like soundproof shit or whatever.
That is what it looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah,
I
and
like
then
I like the scene where it's basically him activating his reflexes and it's just his eyeball and then the nerves going into his brain.
yeah,
That's cool.
Mhm.
yeah, that was dope.
Oh, yeah, that was a
And
good panel.
that fucking like skull and the fire or whatever behind him too,
Yeah.
that shit was fire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was
That
killing it
was
with the
cool.
art this chapter, and then like
And the action sequences was good.
The action
Yeah.
sequences are good, like they're dynamic and like really like crazy to like look at, but I'd be having a hard time like seeing exactly what's going on.
I couldn't
physically
tell that
from, like,
Sosei threw the attack back.
yeah, like from moment to moment, like, you know, like the paneling is great, the art is like really well drawn and whatnot, but just like the communication of like movement is just like not there for me in this
For
series a
some
lot of the
for some
times, and
fights
not
for me.
in the higher octane, like
Yeah.
in the crazier exchanges. That's like my one like gripe with Negi Haruba's like action art, is that it's like really hard to follow sometimes for me.
I think it's
Yeah.
fair. It's one of those where it's kind of like JJK, where you kind of condition yourself to it. Like you got to look at it a couple times. In a lot of cases, like a lot of people read manga like JJK and they're like, I can't tell what's going on. It's like, look at it for
Yeah, but
that's
like a you just kind of gotta like focus and like, because a lot of the stuff in like JJK like kind of like seems like chicken scratchy, and all of the line work can kind of like be overwhelming at like a first glance, but like JJK was always something that felt like really easy to read for me, at least like after a while, with like and it's from a case by case basis. Like some people would think that it's easy to follow, other people's might not, and that's probably the same for Ranger Reject as well. But like no matter
Yeah.
how hard I focus on Ranger Reject, like in the action in this chapter specifically, it's like, dude, I cannot really fucking tell like what's going on here. But like in Jujutsu Kaisen, I always thought that things were always like really well communicated despite like the really chaotic line work.
I think it's a
But,
little
yeah.
easier in JJK just because it's like choreography, and this is like
Yeah.
there's giant arrows flying and stuff like
Well,
that, and it's the area is like dark. They're in
Yeah,
this,
I was
like,
about to
pit.
say that.
In Jujutsu, like it feels like every like movement like in the sequence is like thoroughly communicated as far as like how bodies are moving and like where bodies like end up like position wise. But in Ranger Reject, it feels like certain movements are like missing from like panel to panel, and like we'll start in at one point and then it'll just be at the next point without that like middle part being communicated or whatever. Like when he makes the swords like rain down, and then he grabs one, and then you could see him kind of like winding up with it, but then there's another shot. It's on page like 4, I think. Yeah, he like grabs it. There's a panel for him grabbing the thing, and then you can tell that he's like winding it up, I guess, and then he shoots another arrow at him, and he's like, seriously. And then the next panel is just like the light arrow like far away, like landing down, and like Sosei is like kind of like standing there. So like, yeah, you could tell that like he like threw it after a while, but in like a story like Jujutsu Kaisen, there would be like one more panel dedicated to the actual throwing of it before it actually landed in the distance. That would like communicate that he actually like tossed it a lot better, I want to say, in a story like Jujutsu, where in this it's like it feels like there are certain panels missing that communicate certain movements, I guess is what I'm saying.
I think in this page too, it also it doesn't really help because you can't tell like what the positioning of the character is like, know, in the beginning, like you see Sosei, like does the floor have this like soundproof pyramid stuff? Because like Sosei is like in that like second panel, Sosei is holding the thing and he's standing and he throws, it looks like, he's clearly throwing it like up to Shinya, who is like standing on the wall up, up a couple hundred meters, but then like with the direction that he throws it, it doesn't look like it would make sense.
Not
it
up.
doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look like it makes sense where like when it lands, it looks like it's coming from another direction and hails him. It's like, did it go up? Did he throw it out and then it came back in like a boomerang?
It's a matter of like the perspectives and like camera angles chosen from like panel to panel, and also like it feels like there's just like certain panels missing to better communicate movement, whereas in Jujutsu, like as chaotic as it is, like that game makes sure that you see like how the body moves like from moment to moment, like in every major movement.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's also a lot more like realistic movements. Like in this, people are doing things that we aren't really used to seeing, like throwing giant swords. So this isn't something that something that you can like really. You don't see this on a day. You can go to World Star and see people fighting like JJK all the time, but you're not gonna go anywhere. You're not gonna go anywhere and see this shit on the regular.
Yeah, and a big thing in like Jujutsu is that like the camera angles and like perspectives that are chosen like further complement the movement, of the bodies like involved like in fights, whereas in like in Ranger, it feels like the different like camera angles chosen from movement to movement almost kind of like betray like the what the bodies are actually doing. You know what I mean? Like with this example on page 4, it's like Shinya is up above shooting down, and Sosei is below grabbing the light arrow and throwing it up, but in that bottom right panel, like the perspective chosen implies that like he's throwing it downward.
Well,
but
I think
also
that's
the way
supposed to
that
be
the
like,
thing like lands, it like you were saying, it looks like it's being thrown from a different direction. So it's just like decisions like that like make it like kind of harder to read than it would be in a series like Jujutsu, where all of the camera angles chosen like complement the movements of the characters.
Yeah, and that scene in that bottom one, I think the vision it's like a ground up from like under Sosei looking up at Shinya, but still the sword coming. It looks like the sword came from like a different direction. So it's like where, it probably would have been better if like we showed the sword like impaled the ceiling or something,
right?
Versus it impaling the wall. Because if he's standing on the wall, how does he throw it up the wall at a way
at an angle like that?
Like it made like a diving board, but he threw it up, like
it almost seems like physics defying.
Like it got up there and then it just turned in the air and stabbed the thing. It's weird, but I mean,
what you're saying.
But it works, whatever. We get it. Shinya,
go ahead.
I was gonna say Shinya, trying to get him with the invisibility, and Sosei seeing through that is obviously cool. And he's like, you can't take a print.
That's what that is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He tried to get him with the sneak around, and he turned around and grabbed him.
Yeah.
Pure instinct.
I love how like literally underneath that Shinya pulls the filthy Frank. It's just a prank, bro.
Yeah. Can't take a prank, can you? He's still, just giggling and shit. And then it shows them like dancing, running up the wall. A lot happened in these chapters. Suzukiri stuff, and he's just thinking about that. The skull thing is cool. The the fucking electricity to the brain shit is cool, showing Shinya moving really fast, obviously, and shocking Sosei. What else happened here? Her clone. Oh yeah, so V posted like a picture of the like second page with the girl when she's like talking about, when you use a special attack, you gotta yell out something. You're right, it's just cool that way. And this is like one of the priestesses, but
yeah,
this is, I guess, his sister
on the red side of things, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking so, because he's like, I don't know if he's noticed, but he's being supplied a great amount of divine dragon power. The red divine tool, Hitoko, is she pitying him for their similar circumstances? So I wonder what the circumstance is, but like I'm guessing that's the same thing that happened when he first activated in the three-way battle. But like I'm thinking that was his sister. Like his sister was a dragon priestess.
Yeah, so this is communicating that the priestesses that represent each color of divine dragon energy feed that into the tools as they're using them from like afar or something. Like, is there like some kind of central hub where the priestesses chill and like channel energy directly to these tools as they're in use by the dragon keepers or something like that?
Well, in this case, the priestesses got turned into the tools, so I think it's just like a soul type of thing.
The soul in the tool
Yeah.
is revving up the energy because of the circumstances of the characters involved and what they're feeling and whatnot. Okay.
But the reason it's weird in this case is because Sosei doesn't have a tool, and he's still tapping into the energy. So that's why I was saying I think he is part dragon, because otherwise, like, how is he accessing this energy without having a dragon tool?
Right.
That is pretty interesting, all things considered.
That shit is crazy.
Here's see where it's gonna go. Here's see where it's gonna go at the end of the day. I wonder if we will get a full fight between Chidori and Yellow.
I think it'll be really cool if we do, because we don't often get like character versus character fights that last very long. Like we get, character versus monster, or like Sosei beating up those like Kuroko dudes. They were like nobodies, and it's just like 3 panels of him beating the shit out of them. So like seeing characters like this Red versus Kiritani, like Red was fucking putting the hands on him, and like fucking, like he like fainted and then saw himself. Like I guess he visualized himself or something, and that was like weird. And then he like snapped back into it, and then fucking like drop kicked Yellow. He's like, "Hey, dodge that!" They're falling or whatever, and then that's when Shinya not Shinya, but fucking Chidori shows up. It's a lot going on. Can't wait to see what happens. Do think it's very interesting how every time we get a stretch away from D, it's Sosei focused. So like we go like 3 or 4 chapters without seeing D, we see Sosei for that 3 or 4 chapters. So he really is like the second main character.
Always has
Gojo type beat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm tapped out for Ranger. You guys have anything else to add?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'm skeeted out.
Yeah, I think I'm good for now. Can't wait to see what the new chapter brings, because we got a lot to be hype about, man. And this,
for sure.
Chidori, fan favorite. He's sweet here. A lot of favorites are here, man. No D, but a lot of favorites are here.
Where's
Missing
my
that D though? Where's the D? I need that D, bro.
Flip that chat.
Yeah,
no.
Flip that. Yes, that's perfect. All right, so with that, that's it for Ranger Reject chapter 157. And now we're heading off towards Ichi the Witch, chapter 7, the 7th hunt, the Hisame Magic Part 1. Honestly, really beautiful color page right here. Getting everyone's color schemes.
Back shots.
No, I was just hoping no one would do it.
You know I had to do it, baby. Someone had to.
It's very awkward positioning.
They knew what they was doing, bruh.
Yeah, they knew.
You don't do that on accident.
Yeah. True.
While we're on the topic of her, though, I guess I just want to say that looking at the last chapter before we really dig too deep into this, fucking called it, bro. If you go back, whoever's listening, go back and listen to fucking our chapter 3 review. I don't know if it was a we thing, but I'm gonna say it was a me thing.
No, it was
calling it that she was gonna fucking join the crew, and it fucking happened, bro.
I think that was a me thing.
That was a all of us thing. We all called that.
Bruh. That
I think
was
I said
fucking,
it first though.
No, I said it
Nah.
first.
No,
I mean, it's
nah,
relatively
I'm
obvious.
I'm going to review the tape. Damn it. But
Review the footage.
fucking hype that shit got called here, and it's like, I mean, yeah, sure, maybe it's obvious, but we fucking called it on fucking recording, baby. So it means
Who else
more
did
than
that?
Yeah, who else got it on camera? Nobody. Prove it. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, last chapter, Ichi got accepted into the witches or whatever, and we meet a bunch of other beautiful women who I love a lot.
Yeah.
These fashion department and wand and tools department. I gotta go to this witch place. I gotta meet some of these ladies. But yeah, love Kamugi so far, yo. She is fucking over this bullshit. She is not getting paid enough and is dragged along for the ride.
You gotta have that one character that's just like the only sane person in the group with any common sense.
The straight man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite witch so far is Shira Badana, man, the analytical
Same.
witch. Her design is so good. What her character represents is just like
yeah.
so like my cup of tea. Like I'm a Fantastic Four fan, and she's like just screams Reed Richards to me. Like female witch
100%.
Reed Richards. Yeah, like I love characters like that, and I hope that she like eventually joins the team in some kind of like significant permanent way too. I hope we just get like a whole team of like maybe 5 to 6 characters or whatever, and she's one of them.
Yeah,
She'd be the equivalent of the guy in the chair.
Even if she doesn't, like the author has like they have an impressive way of like including all the characters. Like even in Aruma, like Aruma has like 100 characters, but it never feels like you go a long time without seeing anybody. Characters are always like involved and doing things, and like nobody, there's no like 10/10s where it's like, oh yeah, that character like had a power and then we never saw them again. Like these characters are always active and involved in some kind of way, and like their stories come back. So even if like Shirabadana doesn't become like Team 7 squad healer chick or whatever, I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of her, especially I mean this design, like this is you
good.
You design a character like this and make her like fun like this, you're not using her once. She's gonna be you're gonna want to show this off.
She got every 3 chapter quota, or I'm dropping this shit. I need to see her.
Lord.
I need to see her very often. Otherwise, I'm out of here.
You ain't going nowhere, buddy.
Well, to kind of focus back into the chapter, though, I forgot what I was going to say. Someone else go.
Nice.
Sharknado.
Laffy strikes again.
Laffy go crazy. I love that we got another one of these like pages with the like character, like the Kamugi's personal belongings. We got one like this like 2 or 3 chapters ago, and it was like Discara stuff. The little
I love shit like this.
It's like
it does a lot for like helping us like remember the characters too. I want to say, you know what I mean? Like, not that we would ever forget like any of these characters or whatever, but like it just helps them stick in your mind when you have like a diagram like breakdown of like everything they keep on their person and like why it matters to them.
Right, yeah, and the code is fucking cool. I love the like embroidered designs that are on the inside. I remember we were talking about that too. So it's like,
and I love this little like the celestial body mannequin that like is wearing the coat in the diagram. It's fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, he's balling. Yeah, this whole shit is cool. And then we just, I hope I mean, I don't think there's any worry, but like the next page where it's like there they are, and it's like the story so far is told on like this tapestry. It's a scroll with the like goofy drawing of them.
Yeah, this is Descaris like drawing the shit, right?
Yeah.
This is character writing technically for her, even if it is like like this is a part of her, like what she does. Like this is like feeding into her like narcissism. So I feel like it's good.
This is like the perfect if it gets an anime for like instant recaps. It's perfect.
Yeah, this is
serves
how
multiple purposes. Yeah,
we get her point of view on everything and how the world kind of revolves around her. I just noticed that it says elite next to her with an arrow pointing to her on the first page.
Oh shit, I didn't. I love this woman.
Yeah, there's another one that says super cute. Ichi's just picking his nose.
Yeah, she's got him picking his nose a couple times on this page, actually.
Yeah. It's a booger head.
Okay, I remember what I was going to say. There was 2 things. First off, there's there's now the formation of the Anti-Human Hater Magic Squad, which is a long ass name, but it looks like we're starting our like actual journey, which is great for moving forward with the narrative.
Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
Actually, yeah,
then-
kind of.
We also get this quick backstory for Kamugi, and she fits kind of in the role of like Noelle from
Noelle
Black
from Black
Clover.
Clover?
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, we were on the same beat there, but
No.
she's the me and Greek, not you, Knox. God,
Oh.
but no, so like she's the untalented magical sibling, and her parents put her down for it. So
Already
she-
better than Noelle, though.
Damn.
she's got
Damn comfy.
something to prove.
Noelle's good.
I'm just gonna
No.
ignore the Black
She
Clover
is.
slander.
I just
You better, because I'm not gonna stop.
I just love that Aurora is like, everybody's doing their own thing, and she's kind of like off and imagine it, thinking to herself, and Aurora pops up, "Would it be friends?" Like, she's like, "Bro,
No,
why am
I
I
don't
even
wanna-
here?"
Friends with you, you little goon.
Yeah, this was interesting though, because I thought like he was kind of attached to Ichi. I didn't know he could like maybe he stretched over, but like
No,
him.
I think he jumped off.
Yeah, like I didn't know he could do that. Like separate.
Where
I thought
is
he
this?
was
Oh,
on.
It could just be a temporary thing.
how do we know that he's even detached from Ichi in that moment?
Because
What if he-
Ichi,
what-
Angle.
the previous page, Ichi and her are sitting, like a noticeable difference apart in this wagon.
Yeah, but he could still be attached, and he's just like extra stringy and just like stretched that
Yeah,
far.
or
Right?
the page under that too. The
Yeah,
next
no,
page.
It
They're
looks
kinda-
like he's stretching, because if you go back to the page before that, you can see like a black strand stretching out and touching her shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so I was like, is he like jumping off of Ichi and like go over there, or did he like stretch like a long like stretchy sneak
Yeah,
or something?
I
there's
think
no
stretch.
confirmation of separation, so I'm gonna say that he's just stretching from Ichi,
Okay.
and the distance just doesn't matter.
Okay.
At least for now.
Interesting.
I mean, like we could eventually see him like hop off and run, somewhere or whatever. But I feel like he's always connected to Ichi up until this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's no
That makes
reason to
sure he
think
doesn't
that-
do anything stupid.
Yeah,
That
if
fits.
there's no art confirming the separation, I think that it's safe to assume that he's still attached and just stretching far.
Okay. Yeah, because I was like, it'd be crazy, like him separating. That's an interesting thing. But yeah, I'm on board with the stretch.
Hmm
Yeah. Also, great title drop this week.
Oh yeah, dude, so good with the explosion in the background too. Like I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
wait to
Action.
see that animated.
Action movie time.
Yeah,
I
cool guys
Yeah.
don't look at
love-
explosions.
I
Yeah.
love how they keep ending their chapters
how we
with
do.
these double spreads that are just amazing.
Yeah, baby. We
Yeah, I
got a
didn't
couple of
even
them in
notice
this
that,
one. We
yeah.
got back-to-back spreadage.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
like to do that. They save their spreads for just the end of the chapter, which is good for hyping you up for the next one. But I do really, I say this, I'm pretty sure every time we talk about these chapters, but I love the character interactions, because like Ichi, and he's talking to
Kamugi.
yeah, and he's just like, "You're amazing," and he goes through it and explains, and she's like, "Oh, I guess he isn't that scary." And Aurora is just talking to Descara, just like, feeling left out, want to join him, you jealous? And then she like gets into a sprinter's pose and just dashes into him.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
so good. Multiple
think any-
panels dedicated to the setup for that. It was fire.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Love that they don't leave anything out. It's like this is the type of thing like you would kind of it makes sense, and it's like a lot of other mangaka would just like not have her say anything,
Right.
or like pop in, like she'll either not say anything and like the conversation will continue as if she wasn't there, or she'll just like pop in with some like exposition, like, yeah, and so these are the so and so mountains, this is where people train when they want to know so and so, but like
Right.
this is like she's clearly not in the conversation, and it's like, hey,
She's
I
an
want to
attention
be,
seeker.
yeah,
It's-
she's
Yeah.
she
So
wants-
many things are considered by Osamu Nishi as far as like characters and how they would interact and what decisions they would make in any situation. It's almost like there's like mental checks going on, like, okay, when's the last time Descaris did something?
Yeah.
Does it make sense for her to do something here? What would it make sense for her to do here? And it's just like so thorough. And so like you can tell that these characters are very alive for this creative team in their minds. Like these are actual people to them.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still trying to
Those
figure
are the
out
best
why.
type.
I'm still trying to figure out why she tackled the shit out of Ichi, and then in the next panel she's fighting Komugi.
Wait, I thought she was just pushing Ichi out of the way so she can talk to Komugi. Let me go.
Yeah,
but
I'm
then she
young, I'm a
fights
girl, let's
Komugi.
gossip.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Yeah, she's saying, "Get out of the way, stupid boy. The girls are talking now."
Yeah,
type
but
shit.
she's
Yeah.
fighting her. Like they've got
I've-
like the old cartoony fight.
That's how she
Cloud.
shows affection.
Yeah, that's just like that's just like her. Like,
I-
let me in here. Why are you
Yeah.
leaving me out? I'm Descaris. I'm the best character in this story. Don't exclude me
true.
ever again. Like we're
Komugi not
girls.
really-
We need to stick together. Type shit. Yeah.
Kabuki just got to
It's
get
like the
caught
opposite.
up in it.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I just noticed
the-
on. My bad. Go ahead, Weeb.
No, I was just gonna say that the Scaris is like the is like sorry.
You got
The
it.
Scaris and how much Osamu Nishi like writes her and puts her up into the story is the exact opposite of how Gege does with Gojo, because Osamu Nishi loves the Scaris. He just wants her to be in every aspect of the series and every panel.
Oh yeah, you're talking about like Gege's like comments on like Gojo.
How much he
like, and
hates Gojo.
Yeah, and how much he sucks and shit. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and like so immediately.
That's like a joke though. Like you could tell that motherfucker loves Gojo, dude. Like you don't write Gojo the way you do. Like I think that's like
Aspects.
yeah, I think that's Gege like knowing that he like made one of the greatest characters Shonen has ever seen, so he has to like cool guy it and act like he hates him like for comedy, but like he knows
He specifically told the voice actor of Gojo to be as annoying as possible.
yeah, that's just like all a part of the bit, dude. He knows he made
True.
a Hall
Yeah, I
of
know.
Famer character right there.
I know,
yeah.
but it's so fun. I know it's a bit that's so fun.
Yeah,
So
But
the,
yeah.
for sure.
the cool implication here. So he goes in to save this little girl who's being attacked by sharks. And so the first thing I think of when you see sharks is, of course, water. And we know that Ichi already has a lightning spell. So is he about to get a water spell to strengthen his lightning spell?
I don't know. Aren't these sharks icy?
They're ice.
Are they?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
they're
sure
ice.
that they said. I'm pretty sure because I think it was either in the
It was
last
an ice
chapter
magic.
or it was this chapter. They said that there's like frost damage like in the area, and like there's like this crazy magic out here like doing like icy shit or something like that, and we want to go investigate it or whatever.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, it's ice.
on the page where the girl is running, the guy, her dad's like, surely someone will come and help, and it looks like he's like freezing, like there's like ice crystals and snow on him
Oh,
and
yeah,
shit.
you're right.
Yeah.
Ah,
So she's
still.
getting chased by these ice witches and ice sharks, and
Yeah.
Ichi pulling up, man. He hopped
But
out.
ice is cool
Landing
though.
one of the
and,
coldest
like
battle drops.
ice is cool in combo with electricity. Like you think that like like you make them wet and then you zap them and that's like double damage or whatever because of like Pokemon or whatever. But like ice and lightning is a really good combo, like status effect wise too, because the ice will is usually shown to like slow enemies or whatever,
Immobilize.
and then same with lightning is like a stun. You know what I mean? So like I can definitely, which is just good for a hunter in general to be able to slow prey or stun prey. That's like that's like also like in Ichi's bag, like right up his alley too. So
Yeah. And it could come in. It could be a really cool like aspect to his hunting too later down the line if he captures this, and it's like he sends out his like sharks. Like you don't know where he is, but suddenly he's got like these 3 or 4 sharks like looking for someone or whatever, and then they corner them. You know how sharks do? They like fucking circle their enemy and shit, and then they go and tear pieces. They can do some cool shit with the sharks, and then have them pull up with the wolf, or what the fuck does empowering these ice sharks look like with the Uro magic like that? There's a lot of possibilities when it comes to stuff like this.
yeah, and when is
Godzilla
Ichi
sharks.
going to like use Uro next to enhance anything? Because I'm pretty sure like the Inazuri here is not Uroro enhanced, right? Because he would like pass out still if he used Uroro, right? So
Yeah.
this is just like pure Inazuri like lightning attack, like with no Uroro enhancement. So I wonder like when the next time we're actually going to need that buff.
I would
is-
assume when he's in danger, and
Yeah.
that
True.
might come up soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, if he would have did it here, he probably would have killed the little girl and everybody else.
Right.
Like empower the lightning wolf and just blow the fucking mountain to pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this was dope. I'm happy with the chapter. Love the double spreads. They were all beautiful. The page where Ichi's like that one when she's like Lady Witch and you just see his shadow in the air. That was super cool.
Yeah.
Showing
yeah.
that he jumps into action really quick. And the page where she's running from the sharks, and it's like like that's a dope page. I feel like I've seen that somewhere. Like the little girl, like I'm trying to think, like who does she look like the sick girl from Undead Unluck or some shit. I
Oh,
don't know.
sure. I'm wondering like when the next time we're gonna get like a whole like single panel like double page like splash. Like I want to know like because like a lot of these double page spreads are like composed of like multiple panels or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I want to know the next time we're gonna get like a single panel spread in each
I'm
of the
sure they'll
Centuria.
give
Or
it to us in a big moment.
I wonder if we've ever had one.
Wait, I think wasn't the I'm looking at last
I
chapter.
don't
I
think
think
they have.
last week was one, I think. No, let me see. Looking now, scrolling. Damn, this just scrolls kind of slow. Oh yeah, last. Oh no, there was a panel split on the left. Yeah, it's time to hunt an ice shark when they're all three of them are walking. Yeah. So I wonder. Yeah.
I'm just like such a big fan of like splash pages in general, like whether they're vertical or like double page, like single panel, like big drawings, like are just like so good for hype for me. Like that's I just love seeing those, and it's like, man, if this is gonna be the kind of series that like never uses them, I'm not gonna say it would be disappointing, but I feel like the series would benefit a lot from moments like those captured in single panels. Yeah.
That makes me want to go back through Aruma and see, because I want to say they do it kind of often there, but there may be a lot of those like split ones, kind of like how Oda does it, where like all of Oda's spreads now are fucking like the double pages, but they also have like 6 fucking panels on them and shit.
It was to a point
think...
where like earlier this year, like at the start of the year, we actually had our first double page spread that was just clean double page spread, no panels in a One Piece chapter for the first time since like Dressrosa, which was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, like I thought I saw like a thread or something like that of like every single panel double page spread in One Piece's entire history, and it's only like 17 examples or something in like 1,200 chapters. Like Oda does not really be doing that ever in the history of the series. You saw it a lot more pre-time skip, but
yeah, it was
now,
all before.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm hoping that we see more, because those are really cool. I want to say the page, and I think it was like chapter 4. It's not available on Manga Plus anymore, but chapter 4 when Ichi was flipping through the town with the boots. I want to say that one was a full page with no panels on it, but I could be
that
wrong.
was. No, wait.
I don't know if it was.
Was it?
Yeah, I had to
No,
find a way.
because it also showed
it's
Kumugi.
Yeah,
it's not
panels.
Yeah,
Damn,
I don't think we've gotten them yet. And is Osamu Nishi the artist in Aruma? I can't remember.
Yeah.
No. Nishi's the author, and Usazaki is the artist.
In
Aruma.
Yeah.
They do. Let me just double check. They're pretty sure they're art and whatchamacallit? Aruma-kun.
Yeah, because I know that like the author's responsibility is to break things down on like a panel to panel level. So like a difference in author, or I mean a difference in artist, wouldn't necessarily mean that we would get a single panel double page spread just because it's Usazaki like drawing it now, because it all comes down to how Osamu Nishi like lays things out panel to panel like in text form for her. You know what I mean? So like she'll say, double page spread composed of, 6 or 9 panels or something, and in this panel it's this, and this panel it's that, and then Usazaki would obviously draw that up or whatever. So I think that that's just like an Osamu Nishi thing, and it wouldn't, like, the artist doesn't really matter in that regard. It would have to come from Osamu Nishi, like, okay, these 2 pages are going to be 1 panel, like it would have to come from her.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they did the art and the writing for Iruma.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just flipping through, and a lot of them are split, like a lot of the double pages. I haven't seen any that's just a solid like one image thing. So it's mostly, if not all, like paneled spreads. There may be some, but I haven't found any yet. I'm just kind of flipping.
Yeah. I want to say I remember at least one in Aruma, like when he first gets the bow and arrow. I want to say I remember that being a single panel
Yeah,
spread,
it might be.
but I do not remember too many of them. I've only read like 150 chapters of Aruma, so. But anyway,
Yeah, but I mean, solid chapter. You know, we got shark stuff going on. Ichi introducing himself, and I'm guessing this is the actual final chapter for the volume. So, in and out the volume with a bang. Can't wait to see what the volume cover looks like. And
I'm
yeah.
excited too.
yeah, that shit's gonna be a big money.
I'm pre-ordering
Ice
it.
Water.
What's going on here with after the Ichi the Witch? I'm Ichi the Witch, and then so Roro's looking away, and so
I
there's
think
like
the shark is
this.
stalking them.
Yeah, the shark
main
is
shark.
Main
yeah,
shark.
okay.
The
Main shark.
Hisame.
Yeah, he peeping. He
Plan
like
is
all right,
ruin.
these
Trap, a
fuckers.
dastardly deed.
Yeah, dastardly deed. Yeah, so Ichi's cool, and Discaris ain't have to do shit. She just stood there and looked beautiful as usual.
That's all
So
she
yeah,
needs to do.
yeah,
Right.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready for this next chapter.
Same
Yeah, me too.
seas.
Yup.
But yeah, any more closing thoughts?
None for
Nah,
me.
I think I'm good. This chapter was butterscotch again.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Squeezed out.
All right. So that was chapter 7 of Ichi the Witch, and now we're off to Astro Royale, chapter 26, combo attack battle. Now this one sets us up completely for like the actual fights of the chapter. Also, more or less, kind of separates us from one of the powerhouses on our side. And I'm actually happy that we're kind of going in this direction, but I'm also feel like we might get seeds for potential for maybe combos in the future, as this is still early on. But based on where we are right now in the series, I say we're in a pretty good spot to deal with our first group of antagonists, at least maybe stop things in like a draw or something. How do you guys feel about the chapter?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that. Oh, go ahead, Traffy.
No, go ahead, Nox.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, like, I think it's interesting how they kind of introduced this dynamic with Himuro and his goon squad of how he like made them artificial asteroids to, have an advantage in specific power combos between like ice, wind, and water. And the hero team is kind of like, whoa, you can do that? Oh, it's because you're on some fuck shit and doing like some weird artificial garbage or whatever, but I feel like it's going to set up. And I know that they split up and they're like, oh, we do better when it's one-on-one fights, but I feel like it's still going to set up like a protagonist mirror of these combo attacks in the future. I feel like they're going to find like, their protagonist hero way of doing combos in the future somehow. That'll be like really cool to kind of like say like, you were doing it wrong the whole time because you forced this upon these people and made them all weird, but this is how you really do combo attacks. I feel like we'll see that eventually in the future. I feel like they're set up for that there, but I'm hyped for the individual like one-on-one fights too. But I just can't help but like feel like we're like this is setting up a thing for later in the hero team.
Yeah, I love how I love how they did this, because most mangaka would probably have, one of the smart characters say, okay, this is the plan, we need to do it this way so we can do a combo. But they take a more realistic route, and they're like, we didn't know you could do that, we have no practice with it, so we're gonna do what we know how to do best and take one-on-one fights. It just
we're gonna
feels
stick to our strengths.
It feels so much more natural.
Yeah, I like that. All of us kind of had the same thought, like with the combo thing, is because like in any other like battle series manga, it's like that when the idea of like a combo comes up, like we need to do a combo attack, they're gonna do a combo attack. But here it's like, all right, we don't know any combos, bro. We barely know how to use our own moves ourselves. So like, for that, we're just gonna split up and fight 1v1.
Also, very realistic with what we got.
Yeah, it's another example of Ken Wakui just like being very aware of the history of like superpowered shonen, like battle shonen, like storytelling, and like going like a zigzaggier like approach, like narratively. Because like we were talking about that, I think in the last review too, about how they were kind of like setting up Kinpa to be like, oh, I'm scared, I can't do this until Hibaru, the main character, like gets me past this like mental hurdle to where I can finally like do my thing. But then it was revealed that no, she was always ready to do this and had been training for it and just needed to get her moment of like set up. She didn't need to be saved. It was being set up like Hibaru was going to save her, like an earlier 2000s shonen or something like would do
Mhm.
it, but instead it was like, oh nope, you thought it was that, but it's actually this. And I feel like this is another example of Ken Wakui kind of like leaning into that that battle shonen history to do something subversive, and I really like that.
Yeah.
While
and-
also going into like a classic staple of the genre, getting the powerhouse of their group, essentially like Riri, based on what we've seen of her missile ability, like out of the picture for now, while
Yeah.
the rest deal in their one-on-one battles. And I
Mhm.
feel like with Kimpa behind, though she'll find a way to thaw her out, and maybe things will turn south. And with her ability, she and Riri will be invisible, and they'll sucker punch them again. Maybe, or at the bare minimum, force a draw out of this whole group as they all get away.
yeah, I do wonder
If they
like
can't outright win.
I do wonder what the evolution of these abilities look like, because like if she does, I don't like at first I'm seeing this and I'm like, how the fuck is she gonna thaw her out of this ice? But like skipping past that, you know, like just in my head, I'm now skipping 2 chapters ahead, and I don't care how it happens, but now I'm just wondering like, can they combo attack and like she makes the missiles invisible, and if so, that would be fucking nuts.
Well, you
'Cause
know
it's like-
what I immediately thought about how like Kinpa is going to support Rary in the situation where she's frozen. My mind immediately went to like Shadowcat, Kitty Pride from yeah,
Oh.
like if she can go
Very
invisible,
good.
she might be able to like, you know, go like transparent
Intangible.
or what, or intangible is
Yeah.
the word that I was looking for there, and that might be the
Yeah.
evolution of her Astro, is that she just is Kitty Pride suddenly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like that.
The thing I was confused about, but I'm also very interested in, is the shape-shifting dude. I can't remember his name. How is he supposed to beat a
Kuren?
guy? Yeah, how's he supposed to beat a guy who controls water? But then again, he can shapeshift, so he's just gonna like throw water at him, and he's gonna turn into like a shark or some shit
Yeah,
and just swing
Yeah.
at him.
yeah, he's
So
gonna
I
turn
mean,
into like a
it doesn't
fucking-
have to
or a
be
bear.
animals, does it? Or is it specific? I can't remember all of the
No, he can turn
transformations
into
he's
anything.
had so
Yeah,
far. Okay, so he
anything.
can turn into anything.
I
He's
think
gonna
he-
turn into like a fucking
Road roller.
Yeah, yeah, like a big
I need a
water
JoJo
gun
meme, I
or
swear.
something.
Yeah, he's gonna turn into like a vacuum that like, you know, clears the pools out in wintertime.
A big ass radiator and fucking sweat him out to cause dude to like evaporate or something.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I was I'm like excited to see like how the future of like combo attacks will go though, because I feel like at some point they're gonna get them in. Like, you know, reading Tokyo Revenges, we never got like combo, you know, team things. It was, if so, it was just like, you know, Mikey and other
Punches.
dude, you know, Mikey kicks dude while
Yeah,
other
they'll
dude
just
punches
steal off
dude.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this is like abilities. It's like I'm interested to see how Wakui is able to like do the Black Clover thing, because I feel like Black Clover kind of like that's their thing. Like a lot of manga do it, but
Black
that's
Black
that's-
Clover and Fairy Tail do a good job at combo attacks.
that's their thing. Like the teamwork, you know, like I got one ability, you got another. We're running at a dude, and our moves are gonna kind of have sex and do a move at a dude. It's like, you know,
Whoa.
fire and ice go swirling and spinning. Like the fire should cancel ice, or like the ice should melt. You know, fucking put out the fire, but it doesn't do that. They both hit the guy at the same time. I can't wait to see how that works in a Ken Wakui manga,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
dude's normally just throwing haymakers, and it's
It'll be better. That's all
Yeah.
I know.
One thing
yeah.
One thing I was actually surprised about with the last chapter going into this one is the idea of artificial asteroids, because the idea of having like artificially created people with abilities, or at least in this one, artificially connect people with other people's like links for their abilities to come up with the perfect combo for this group in particular, for Himuro, is not only smart but also like unexpected, because you'd expect something like this to come in like 50 chapters later after we've dealt with most natural asteroids,
Right.
or deal with a semi-major antagonist and then get the reveal for this happening. But having this be early on sets the precedent that Himuro might not be the only one of these characters with a group like this,
Yeah.
since
Yeah,
it's
no,
a
for
government
sure.
project.
It
I
So,
agree.
He might even be low on the totem pole for all we know,
It's
and it might
really-
be bigger people.
it's really cool to see stuff like this, because it's like it's almost kind of like what Kaido was doing, where he was kind of like getting the same type
Artificial
of like,
villains.
artificial fruits for his fleet, and it's like we're all beastmen or whatever. So it's like, will there be other people who like get artificial things to specifically craft for their team? Like if I'm a fire team, I want like a guy who can do wind and a guy who can like, you know, fucking
Lightning.
Yeah, so you know these complement my fire abilities. So like these abilities that he has with his squad, they all complement him perfectly. It's like will
Now
we
he
see
lured the
more
heroes
people?
into an area with water.
Yeah, it's perfect. It works for him perfectly. So it'd be cool if we see more people who like craft their own teams in a way like this. Because I mean, our main characters they didn't craft this. They didn't do this on purpose. They just have their
A
abilities in
hodgepodge
their
of different
family.
abilities.
Yeah, they're a family. They fuck with each other. They got these abilities. They'll make it work. But like, I can't wait to see people who make it work on purpose. Like they were like, I need a guy with this ability, so I'm gonna make one or some shit.
Yeah, let me see the
and-
bronze bull guy team up with the fire guy.
Getting the confirmation that old girl on Himuro's squad has Wind Astro, because we were talking about how she just like redirected Hibaru's like punch in that one chapter or whatever. We were like, how did she do that? Like, what has she got some kind of like momentum like based you know, or inertia like based like type shit or whatever? But no, it was just wind. He just like punched and like his shit slipped into a jet stream of wind and like redirected or whatever. That's really cool.
I forgot about that. Yeah, the art in this one I felt like was a bit of an improvement. Not to say the art has ever been bad, but like there's a lot of pages and shots here where I'm like, okay, this looks really cool. Like the final page with Hibaru. No, not Hibaru. What's the main character? Yeah, Hibaru is the main character. Yeah, I feel like that picture of him looks really cool, and the one of Himura above him looks cool.
And I do
a
good extra of art was back in the previous arc when they were fighting Shino and he uses like a gravity astro and affecting the environment. The way that was drawn was freaking beautiful.
I also really like this whiteout panel too on the more like minimalist side of things. I just think that that's a really cool shot aesthetically.
Yeah, that the part where Himura is it like everybody Yo, I just fucking Porky Pig that shit, yeah. But it's like a window. Like I felt like I was looking at like another dimension, or like they're removing all of the light or like color from the air, like with this whiteout thing. It's just I don't know.
It's kind of like when Gojo uses domain expansion against Gogo for the first time.
It's like a new dimension, yo. They're getting swept up in it. Something that confused me for a second though earlier in the chapter was just like page 4 when they fly off and like it looks like Himura and his Himura and his gang, they fly off this thing or in a direction that looks like they're flying away, but like she's like, you know, Hibaru, Kenpa, you take the left, everyone else pursue from the right. And it's like it looks to me that they're flying away, like hey, they blast it off again, but they go like downstairs or something. Like, how do they know that they aren't like heading off to go to Long John Silver's or some shit, you know? It looked like he's leaving, but she's like, we're gonna cut him off. It's like, what? I thought they were bouncing. What do you mean?
How do you? No, that's a really good point, because it's like from the perspective of Rary as she shouts these commands out, she has no idea what direction they're eventually going to go. All she sees is them flying off into the sky. So to even be able to give them, you know, a command to go in any direction feels kind of weird, especially the fact that they literally met them downstairs in the next page. Like, so they would have had to fly off in a certain direction and then eventually turn around and go down into this area. And it's like, okay, so you always knew where they were going to go. It feels almost like an oversight, you know, from Ken Wakui that he didn't like factor in, you know, how that looked or whatever.
Yeah, like maybe if there was something down there.
Like Rary knows more than she should in this moment.
So
or she's guessing based off the guy's personality that he won't just up and leave. He'll try and find a way to get in an advantageous position and probably doesn't want to get him into that position.
I guess why would they leave?
But like,
why would they leave?
But like, what's stopping them from just flying off and then hovering? Like telling them to go off to the left to cut them off. Like, what if they just don't go the fuck over there? Like,
he wants to do things personally, face to face. That's how he's been doing it so far.
They have rockets chasing them, so they're not going to be able to just fly away and escape those.
Okay.
Oh, true. I guess, that makes it feel a little bit better then.
I guess if the rockets are kind of like leading them into a direction, then that
no,
works.
because then he should have included a panel where the rockets like fly into a wall, where they like zigzag like away and like go into, you know, an area that the missiles can't follow, and they run into a wall and explode. But like that doesn't happen, so it comes off like Rary knows more than she should in this moment, because she has to, because she's the character in the story. You know what I mean? Who knows what the next scene is going to be?
Yeah, there's never like a boom that lets you know that the missiles like exploded or anything. Like they just appear downstairs and they're in front of these tanks, and it's like I feel like if there was some goal down here, like we got to go to the control panel we're not leaving without it, and it was in this room, then yeah, it would have made sense that she knew they were coming here. But like they knew exactly where to find them, and they were just standing here waiting, like characters in a Pokemon game. You get to the Elite Four, and Lance is just there, like you don't take piss breaks. You just wait for the challengers to show up. Like he's just here. Like this is like a Pokeball scene. Like Mewtwo just waiting in the tunnel. Like
it felt like there are like panels missing, and like Rary always knew that they were going to go here when she shouldn't have that information.
Yep. We'll just go with author oversight for this one.
Yeah, I'm down.
It'll end up leading into a pretty cool moment, though.
Yeah. I still love her ability though on the lipstick thing. I can't wait to see what the deal is with her trauma.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. I was kind of like how Himuro just goaded her by playing on getting her angry.
Yeah. And so there was this one page, where was it? It was like page 17 where Himura's like chick, the wind chick, she's like, is it's Happy, right? The fucking thing that he's wearing. A P wearing brat of yours, stupid or something. Himura's gonna die. And I'm like, why is he like, can he not swim or something? Like, why does she think he's gonna die?
Yeah, that was weird for me too. I was like, why would you say that right there? Like,
it could have been a mistranslation,
or maybe she's just like that big of a. Maybe she's just that big of a glazer, and she's just like that. Like, she cares about him that much, and is like, yo, things are going outside of our, realm of expectation. So I'm assuming the worst case scenario, and you're gonna get like my glorious master killed in some kind of way, even though he's not in danger for real.
Yeah, it felt weird to be like, my boss is gonna die, but like, shouldn't you guys be confident you're the bad guys?
Right.
It could be a translation error where they meant to write in Hibaru. Maybe, but then again, she wouldn't be concerned.
Yeah, and I mean, she's blaming him. She's asking, is he stupid? She wouldn't like ask, is he stupid, and then say he's gonna die.
Right.
Unless she was being super cocky about it. But no, she wasn't.
I don't think there's any errors here. I think it's just weird.
I think it's just a weird piece of dialogue. Maybe she's just very concerned. Maybe there's something about him that we don't know, and he needs his lackeys around to make sure he's good.
She's just his number one fan, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what's happening. We're not in control right now, and I feel like my people are gonna die because I love them so much."
This is actually the last thing. This is actually the last thing I want to really point out that might actually be the case. Maybe she's concerned because the guy gets so caught up in his own BS that he'll start that without his lackeys around to support him, he'll get careless and make a mistake. Against
we're separated now.
That's such
now
a close range attack with such intense strength.
Yeah, maybe he's got a move that puts his life on the line or whatever. Like he uses maybe the gun actually uses his life force or something. When I first saw that, I was like, can he not swim? Like, is she scared he's gonna fall in the water and drown? Like why are you saying he's gonna die? Is he just gonna fall in the ocean to be over? But I don't know. That was interesting. If he does die, hey, I'm here for it. Let's see how he dies. Because I'm now that she said that, I want him to die. Fuck it.
I was talking to Party Jams. I was talking to Party Jams, or Rick said, or whatever, in the comments of our last review, and they were talking about how like it feels like it's set up that Himuro is going to just like outright lose, like in this same like arc or stretch of chapters that he's introduced or whatever. And I was like, dude, I feel like that would be a fumble. Like, he has like a lot of potential as like a long running character, and I feel like it hits a lot harder to like have him be a recurring villain, because like the path for Kinpa's revenge shouldn't come so like easily and quickly in the defeat of Himuro, especially considering like the traumatic nature of her backstory. I feel like it's way better for her character arc if it's like a longer journey towards that, inevitable revenge or whatever. And I feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity if you introduce like a very competent and menacing, villainistic force like Himuro and his people, and then just have him like outright defeated in the same arc, like 3 or 4 or 5 chapters like later, without him ever like running away and like resetting and like coming back to impact the plot and Kinpa again later. I feel like that's just like not a good move if he's like outright defeated in this stretch.
That's why I think the likelihood of a draw is probably going to happen.
Yeah, a draw would be cool, or
draw,
like
just not,
or they just outright win.
Just
Yeah.
any result that doesn't result in him dying makes sense. Because I mean, he did take Terrazino or whatever, and it's like you're right. He was smart enough to lure them here, and you know
Right.
he was one step ahead of them multiple times in this plan. So to have him like die here after like outsmarting them and stuff would kind of be a fumble when he could be used for so much more and continue to be a thorn in their side.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be like a, MCU like villain fumble like situation where they always like kill the villain at the end of the movie, even though like
Yeah.
there's a lot of content that can still be explored with these characters if they just like let them survive and run off to come back with a new plot later. You know what I mean? Like that was like a huge criticism in the earlier MCU storytelling or whatever, and I just don't want that to be the case
Unless
here.
you're Loki.
Unless you're Loki. Unless you're Loki and you get a redemption arc and a weird
Twice.
like comedy TV show spinoff. Yeah.
I mean, that also just happens when you're a good looking actor. So
Oh yeah.
True. Got to make money off that face, but this nigga's ugly as hell.
yeah, buddy. This dude, he ain't getting no bitches.
None.
Yeah, but
Like
this
Snoopy.
chapter was really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad we got the one-on-ones, and I really do hope it ends up like being what you said, where it ends up being like leading into them potentially learning to do combo moves.
Oh yeah.
Because I think Hibaro did do a pseudo combo move, like in the previous arc, jumping on I forgot his name, Terasu's shield to protect him while he was lunging
platforming.
forward.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah.
That was dope.
So stuff like that. I hope I see in the future.
I think we will. I mean, you just gave another, reason why it makes sense for us to eventually see that. You know what I mean? Not only do we have, this situation with Himuro and his goon squad, but then we also have like a little bit of breadcrumbs or a little bit of setup for it in like the platforming combo that Hibaru used with Terasu's shields to, better position himself for a big punch and whatnot. So I think that's two strong examples of why we will eventually see that in the future in the hero team.
Yeah. And I can see it where it's like a case now where it's like he jumps off, what's his name, Terasu's, he jumps off his shield and then he bounces off that and then he lands on Karan, who turned into a trampoline, and then he like comes in with a crazy missile punch on the guys. It's like, it's like, at first the dude maybe his opponent's like 100 feet away, is like there's no way he could hit a punch on me, but then suddenly he gets fucking propelled by all these extra forces, like Karan turns into like a fucking catapult or something and launches him across the fucking planet.
Or maybe the evolution of Kinpa's Astro will kind of be like in the same vein as Melioron from Hunter x Hunter with his perfect plan, to where like she can make like her allies invisible too for better positioning for like huge punches from Hibaru.
Oh yeah, that'd be dope. Invisible, bro. Imagine you fucking get clocked by that big ass fist, some shit like that. Like,
and had no way of seeing it coming beforehand. Oh my god!
It's one thing when you got time to like try and fucking like clinch up or like guard, but like you get hit by a building fist with no fucking no guard.
That was always like, something that I had noticed inside of Hunter x Hunter too, just to like, go off on a tangent here real quick. The combo pairings for like the punitive forces they invaded the ant mansion or whatever in the ant arc is that they had to take Nove out of the story with his like psychological trauma of encountering Poof's end when he went to go place the portals for the infiltration. They had him like have like a mental breakdown or something like that, which removed him from the story, which like was so necessary, because if Melioron was paired with Nove when he has that fucking scream attack where he like makes a portal around your head and just teleports it into his mansion, he could have one-shot all of the villains in that arc. Like if Melioron would have put him into perfect plan, he could have snuck up on the king, put a scream portal over his head, teleported his head into his 4D mansion, and the arc is over. So they literally had to remove him from the story, like, for that reason, I want to say. And I feel like that's also a reason why we might not get Kinpa perfect plan Hibaru rocket punch from like from literally an invisible state. That would just be so broken.
You just be chilling and suddenly you just get smacked by a fucking bus out of nowhere. Just eating ramen with your legs crossed and shit. Now your fucking body's broken in half.
Oh god.
But I think I'm tapped out for Astro Royale. What about you guys?
I'm also squeezed out.
I'm skeeted.
type shit.
Dude,
Freshly.
you can't just say I'm skeeted. That has no relevance.
I'm skeeted, yo. This shit's gonna
I'm
stick.
busting nuts. Like,
Yeah.
okay, ready to move on.
Yo, our podcast is not kid friendly, bro.
And we're demonetized.
Yeah, we're not even monetized yet.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's it for Astro Royale chapter 26. Next up, we got Kagurabachi chapter 54, and all I'm gonna say, outside of some of the coldest panels I have seen in manga in the last couple of months, if not the year, I'll flat out say it. Chihiro has basically got his Joker in these last few chapters, and
Okay.
I am so curious to see where this leads, because with how things are playing out, it really does seem like the heroes will probably end up losing at some point in this arc in some way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
And man, I am just incredibly excited to see what happens next. Chihiro has just been freaking fantastic this whole arc so far.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I cannot wait to see what happens next.
I think it's time for him to take like a major like L though. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's extremely competent
It's that
and like
time.
always kind of makes it out without like any kind of you know, like really long lasting consequences that like affect like, you know, things on like a major level. Like I think he lost an arm and then he lost an arm or whatever, and I think it was gone for like, you know, half of an arc or something like that before he got it back. But then it was back, and you know, nothing kind of like, you know, came about from that. He's just back to being, you know, the Terminator basically again or whatever. So I think that the heroes like should lose in a majorly like consequential way in this arc at some point, which they're obviously setting up. I think we probably lose Samura. But as far as like Hirohiko goes, being like set up as like his Joker, I think is what you just said. It's like I don't know like what the future of his character really looks like when he has no arms.
Yeah.
So you know,
So-
like I think he just
Grocery
dies
world.
here.
Well, so he can't he's not gonna die here.
He's got to have some kind of trump card or something.
Well, so he's flying these swords in. That's what's happening here.
Oh wait.
So like he's got to have some way of either restoring his arms or somebody said he's gonna do like fucking what's the dude's name from was it Duran the shit with the dude Dororo as a baby.
Oh yeah,
like,
Dororo. Yeah.
They like he's got like sword arms and shit. Like it's like somebody made a joke and said he's gonna be like that. But like in this page, what page is it? Fucking hell. You can see the swords behind Chihiro, like up in there. 16, where he's like, for personal reasons, I dispatched all of that fighting power to Suji or whatever, and right behind Chihiro in the air, like in that hole, you can see the two swords are like floating towards them, and then the next page is the butterfly cranes carrying the swords.
Right. Yeah. I guess I didn't peep that before. So I mean, like, I wonder like how that's like relevant for Hirohiko without any arms. Is he gonna have some way to reattach them using his ability in some kind of way? Is there other areas of his sorcery that'll allow him to reattach his arms, and he can do more than just like paper manipulation?
Unless
he's just gonna shove the swords into his nubs.
Well, I mean,
Jesus Christ.
Well, the swords still have owners, so like the owners of those swords are still currently alive, so he can't actually
these
use
are
them.
okay. Yeah, my
these
bad.
Are Samura and
these are
Uraha's
Roku
blades.
Hira's swords. Yeah,
which is why I'm saying they'll probably take at least one loss, so that Ishaku can end up using one of the enchanted blades. And then get Chihiro around for his money, maybe beat him.
It's just like, because I was gonna say maybe he's just getting the swords away from them, but no, he's clearly bringing the swords here. Otherwise, why show the cranes delivering the swords? Like something is gonna happen, and like I don't know. Like, I mean, because clearly the kid, he can, do the whole paper shit and like turn into paper and bounce. So he doesn't probably have to like stay here and fight. He can probably just, escape.
Yeah. So he's dropping the swords off for like other members of the Hishaku to pull up and use them after they successfully murder Samura, or
Kuroha.
or the other, or Kuroha. But I think it's more obviously going to be Samura. But and I think I saw somebody like complaining on or not complaining, but like with criticisms like akin to like what I was just saying, about Chihiro needing to experience some kind of significant loss that like
Yeah.
either affects his character on like a major level or like the world, or the narrative on a major level. And I agree with that. I think that comes in the form of Samura because he's the enchanted blade user that he has known from before his father died. So that would be like a huge loss that Chihiro can take that would drastically affect the future of his character in a way that like keeps it from like just being like a stale like 90s cool Matrix Terminator, doesn't lose, always knows what to do in every situation and comes out on top kind of like situation, which could eventually like put Kagurabachi into that like stale, like stagnant, like state where the tension is kind of removed and the stakes are kind of like diminished or whatever. So I think that it's all set up right now for like this huge death in the form of Samura, and then the story can like get back on its like bearings of being this very like high stakes, high tension, like anyone can go at any moment like kind of situation. So I'm really excited for that. Yeah,
I think along with possible death, there's still the possibility here where it's just like the Hirohiko, he set up this scene where these civilians, like these regular people, are getting to see like Chihiro do things that would normally be very scary. So it's like this could possibly hurt his reputation. Like some of these people, they don't know that Chihiro is actually the good guy. So like, what if they go and tell the police, and then Chihiro becomes like a wanted man? They got like wanted posters up for him, and then it kind of like puts the heat on him and the Kuminabi, where it's like, all right, we can't really fuck with you because you got like too much heat on you. Like people, if they associate you with the Kuminabi, like maybe the Kuminabi has like some agreement with like the regular government police people, and it's like one of your guys
that's
is
good
like
for
murdering.
Yeah.
It kind of like isolates him, so he's like he can't take shelter with the Kuminabi or whatever.
So something that I do like that was mentioned, we actually got a concrete number for the main members of the Hishaku. It's 10 characters.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see, because this ensures longevity for the series. That at bare minimum, one of them will get their own arc, maybe two in a singular arc. So I'm curious to see how that's going to progress. Because, spoiler, end of this chapter, seemingly we get another one of their main members showing up to face off against Samura.
Yeah, because we've only
which
seen
seems to be their trump card
so far, right? We've only seen.
I think this is the guy
Miura,
that we saw
right?
from chapter 1.
Yeah, he was in chapter 1.
Yeah, and he was there at the auction too.
Was he?
Yeah.
I
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because he had separated Chihiro from the rest of the protagonist force in that arc, and was flexing on him with like no sorcery, and it was like just like hand to hand combat, and he was like,
no, that was the
shitting
boss.
Wait, that was the guy that's on the phone.
Okay, I thought that's what I thought we were talking about. My bad.
No,
I was talking about the guy at the end with the hat.
Yeah, the hat guy at the end with the plants.
Yeah. Okay, so
he was
this
from
is
chapter
another
1.
Hishaku member.
Yeah.
Okay,
So he was in chapter 1. He was the one that like initially was like killing all those dudes in like some warehouse or something.
Oh right.
Yeah. Also, let's talk about Chihiro's oldest double page spread from the previous chapter going to this one, because the strategy of what and how he implemented his Enten's ability to just scatter and be basically just engulf the rest of the papers after they hit him, taking all those hits so civilians don't get caught in the blast, and then in an instant make it straight to the enemy.
Yeah,
cut off his arms.
He took a page out of Hirohiko's like book after like seeing his strategy with like the paper cranes filling up the area and detecting things like through like what comes in contact with the paper. He was like, I just did the same thing as you. I used Kuro. I filled the space with goldfish. I waited until after your origami like cranes had like used their attack, because they can only use them once, and then you got to fold like new ones in order to do the attack again. So I just took the attack head on. Once the threat was like over and I survived, I filled the space with my goldfish and then used that to detect exactly where you were in relation to my goldfish and sliced your shit off, and now we're here and you're done.
Yeah, his battle IQ is very high.
Yeah,
I like the breakdown of his ability and the creativity of using his ability in different situations. Kagurabachi's mastering not just sword fighting, but also just the abilities utilized alongside it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Strategy, very high, very cerebral combat.
I know in the previous episode, Nox specifically brought up that Chihiro's convictions would be challenged against this guy. But that just
He doubled down on that shit. He said, "Nah,
yeah.
like it looks crazy, I know, but fuck it, I'm crazy, so
I
we're
called
here."
it.
Oh
Once
yeah,
again,
you did
Joker
say that,
parallels.
didn't you?
I
You said he
did.
would double down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good shit.
I'm the
Chihiro's a
caller.
serious guy.
Waffy.
Chihiro's a serious guy, very much unlike I forget his name. Is it Yura?
Yeah.
The guy that's sitting on the fucking seahorse. This dude is
Yeah.
very
At children's
unserious.
playground.
Yo,
Just
in the
on
Very
a
bar.
children's-
unserious, but very high aura at the same time.
On a
Yeah.
children's playground on this rocking thing talking about
Yeah.
murdering people.
That's the
Oh,
kind of
man.
shit that's the kind of shit that I love that like certain authors do like with their villains is like, you know,
I expect
give
this
them,
shit from like One Piece or Yozakura family.
yeah, like if you have like, you know, a very serious threat, like, you know, in like relatively like silly, you know, kind of situation. Like it reminds me of like the Phantom Troop playing fucking like bullshit, like while they're like playing like some kind of like card game. I think it was like Old Maid or bullshit or something like that. While Uvo was killing all of those mafia members in the auction arc, you have like the Curse family and Jujutsu Kaisen playing like Shoots and Ladders while they talk about their like future plans or whatever, and then you got this guy like chilling on this fucking, you know, springy like playground elephant while he's talking about his plans and whatnot. That's the kind of shit that helps you remember, you know, a villain organization. This kind of shit like sticks with you,
Yeah.
and like, you know, helps you know, them reach a level of like icon or like iconic level of just like, God, why am I like blanking on this like word that I'm looking for here? But like it just adds to, you know, the God. It's late, dude. Holy
Yeah.
shit. I
got
was gonna say memorabilia, but like but
Like a
like
gold coin.
yeah, like it's just like that shit sticks with you. You know what I mean? Like it helps you, like it helps them stand out and like stick out in a way that's like you'll remember them for sure.
Kinda-
because of shit like this. Yeah.
Kind of go with that too. Like it's interesting that we haven't really seen many members of the Hishaku. Like I feel like normally at a point like this, like you get a phone call or something like this, and you can see who he's talking to, and then we have no clue who he's talking to, and we've only seen, you know, him, the guy that's about to fight Samura, and now Hirohiko, but we haven't seen any of the other like 7 main members. And it's like we know what all of the swordsmen look like, and then, you know, when an organization is introduced, usually it's like you see all of them. Like when the Akatsuki is introduced, you see, you know, every design or whatever, minus like Pain hiding in the shadows or whatever. But you at least get to see like, oh, this dude's got yellow hair and this dude's got like a fucking funky do-rag or whatever. And it's like you get to see. But with the Hishaku, we have no clue. They're just gonna pop up one day and it's action.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the only
they're so
identifier
serious.
is the tattoo on their hand.
Yeah. And when Chihiro sees that, it's like seeing red. He got to
Yeah.
start swinging.
It's like fucking Kurapika seeing the spider tattoo on the Phantom Troop.
Exactly. That's a fucking perfect connection right there. Perfect thing to relate it to Kurapika.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do love
Yeah,
how
boss.
at the start of the chapter they talk about Togo and how he is just the strongest there is, and yet
Shiba,
he's
you mean? Oh yeah, Togo Shiba. Yeah, that's his
and then you gotta
Yeah,
realize
they're
how
gassing
he's
him up.
completely missing from this arc.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's about to come in on some fuck shit eventually.
Well, I would love
Yeah.
it if he just finds the leader and they have a solo match by themselves. And they're like,
it
you know
makes-
what, this is causing too much trouble. Let's just leave it
Yeah.
at this.
It makes
Have a
sense
nice
that
day.
they're worried about, bro, because it's like, man, teleporters are a pain in the ass, dude. Like,
Every anime with
it's-
them have to come up with
it's-
an interesting way to take them out.
It's such a versatile like ability. It's like one of those ones where like it doesn't matter if you know exactly how it works. It's like bungee gum or it's like boogie woogie. You know what I mean? It's just like so hard to deal with, like no matter the
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it's like if he
Mhm.
teleports to fucking, you know, another state, it's like, what am I gonna do, bruh?
Right.
Like he's gone. That's it. Like, and it's very interesting though to see that he's the Gojo basically. Like they're saying he's at the very pinnacle of the level of sorcerers in this world. And it's like, I mean, we knew he was strong and like he's been seen like doing some dope shit, but like I personally
Never thought he
didn't-
had that much notoriety in the underworld.
yeah. I was like, okay, you know, maybe he's like a Kakashi in the Naruto universe, but he's like the nigga. Like
Yeah.
he's far higher than like Kakashi tier of this world. Like he's like 3 levels above him, and I thought he was just like, you know, chilling. But no,
Yeah.
he's a big dog for real.
They did a good job of making him like initially feel like he was like kind of not shit, and then eventually like flipping the script like, no, he's actually the tightest one.
I love
like,
that.
I definitely didn't feel that from him, initially when the story started, and then now like having like villain characters say like, hey, we gotta really watch out for this guy because he's really nice like that. It's like that makes it more hype for me.
Yeah, it means so much more to have the fucking the Hishaku boss saying that. Like this dude is the boss, and he's like, this other guy is the pinnacle of what we do. It's like, what? You're the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was nuts, and just this whole conversation between Hirohiko and Chihiro was dope. Hirohiko's he's on a different level of freak, so we'll see what he
Is
does
somebody
next week.
gonna match his freak though?
Yeah, like
Traffy?
Yeah,
that was my joke. Damn it, get back.
Look, I didn't know.
Just kidding,
man. But yeah, I guess I wonder, like, are we gonna kind of like flip flop in the next chapter? We're gonna see like some of Samura stuff, some Uruha stuff, and some Chihiro stuff, or is it just gonna focus on like Chihiro? I feel like we mostly focus on Chihiro this chapter, so it'll probably
Samura.
we'll probably see more Samura
again.
Samura's gonna get one more crazy fight against this Hishaku guy, and then eventually die. He's gonna lose the fight. Yeah.
No.
It's
so
up
obvious,
for bro,
but it's gonna
and you
happen.
know it.
I'm a Samura death denier. It's not gonna happen.
Well, you're living in denial, buddy.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. I am the caller, the correct caller of all things.
No.
You got one good call, maybe.
One.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves here.
One is generous.
Will Chihiro take on his opponent? Will Shiba end up taking him down? Find out
Someone
next
go
time
back through all of
on
our videos
Dragon Ball Z
and count like the calls. I bet you I got like 3 on you, Trav.
No, you don't.
No, I probably don't. But somebody do that and let me know.
I am the predictive master.
No.
Yes.
You've had he's had a pretty decent record so far.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say master. I'd say novice.
You've been on point. Novice is crazy.
Crazy.
That reminds me of that episode of Pokemon with the Metapod battle and the samurai bug catcher. He kept calling Ash a novice. I think the novice count was like 17 plus in that episode.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Better to be a novice than a snoozer.
Oh,
Damn.
Killed you.
Cooked.
That is fair.
Yeah. I'm interested though, because Hirohiko, man, he's talking about fighting to the death as equals, and he ain't got arms. So like, we gonna see what he gonna do. Maybe next week them paper cranes unfold and make arms, and he just starts swinging the swords while they're still in their fucking scabbards or whatever.
Yeah, he got a trump card going on here that's gonna like activate in like a moment of near death. He's like, especially if we're calling him Mahito at home, like he's like in a position where like Mahito first was when he like opened his domain expansion for the first time.
Yeah.
It would be really dope if he like at this range he just point blanks like turns his body, like he does like a paper clone thing and turns his body into like the origami cranes, and it was a diversion. Like he let Chihiro think that he needed to use his hands, but it was like I just wanted you to get close, and it was like a buckshot.
Yo.
True, but we do get his inner dialogue of him panicking over what just happened.
That's true.
Not understanding. So
that's true.
But if that happened, but if they go that direction that you said, that would also be pretty cool.
I mean, there's evolutions and shit.
A lot can happen when you're like pushed to the brink. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a cornered like animal is like 3 times as vicious and deadly as a not cornered animal or whatever the saying is. It's so late. I'm so tired. Oh my god.
He could just think of something. He could think of something now that he never thought about because he's never been pushed this far.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
type beat.
But yeah, any other predictions you guys want to go for?
I'm all squeezed.
I'm
Yato?
good.
Freshly skeeted.
Damn.
All right, I guess
this better not carry over into the next episode. I'm about to beat all y'all's asses, bro.
Look, Skeeted's gonna be picked up more than Butterscotch.
Yeah.
No! At least I still have ice water.
Look.
I need y'all in the comments to flame these niggas, bro. Do not let this continue.
Look,
Knox, sit here with popcorn to watch
you're
the world burn.
Knox, you're the only one who says Butterscotch, but now I got Yato saying Skeeted. I am winning.
That's because you niggas are freaks.
Huh? Once we get Weeb saying squeezed and skeeted, it's over. Yeah.
No, someone
not my
help
style.
me. Audience, do something.
Just a bunch
Press
of
one.
comments saying butterscotch.
Yeah,
Please,
nah.
Butterscotch Army, please pull up.
There ain't no
Skeeted
butterscotch
army
warriors.
arrive.
No, the Skeet Army. I'm about to quit.
We'll put a poll. We'll put a poll in the community tab. Have the
It's-
viewers vote which one they like better.
It's freaky out here.
Skeeted or butterscotch. Let us know.
It's real freaky out here.
It's super freaky.
But yeah, that was it for Kagurabachi chapter 54. In this is honestly once again we all said this was probably a really good chapter, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Same Z's.
All right, well, thanks again for joining us for the Shonen Pulse podcast. This was a really good discussion. We talked about a lot of stuff tonight, and if you want to join, and we look forward to the next video next week. And if you want to follow us, our socials are in the link down below. And once more, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for when we upload our next podcast episode. And check out our community tab where we'll be updating you guys on some stuff as well. So, I hope you all have a good night. Yato,
Holla holla.
Traffy,
Peace.
Knox.
See you next time, y'all.
All right. See you around, everyone.